sad that this is actually the world we live in and that this is happening right now.
She's a 17-year-old Swift fan upset she can't see a show. Austria's interior minister says the third suspect's 18 and had pledged allegiance to ISIS but was not directly connected to the plot to attack the Swift concerts. Police in Britain say that plot does not extend there, so Taylor Swift concerts in London next week will go on. Israel has started a new offensive in Gaza targeting Hamas militants amid a renewed push for a ceasefire.
There are continued ground operations as the IDF orders the mass evacuation of civilians in Khan Yunis, indicating that troops there could soon return to the city. Now, the leaders of Qatar, Egypt, and the U.S. released a joint statement last night calling for Israel and Hamas to resume talks, saying, quote, the three of us and our teams have worked tirelessly over many months to forge a framework agreement.
Fox's Alex Hogan in Tel Aviv, Israel. A police officer is being mourned in Summit, Mississippi. Troy Floyd shot and killed at a traffic checkpoint when a passenger in a car driving by opened fire. Two other officers were wounded, but were able to shoot back, killing the gunman. Debbie is no longer a tropical system, but its remnants are over Virginia and moving north, still full of rain.
The larger concern, it's been the concern here the last couple of days, it continues, is all the different flood risks. That's going to continue all the way from the Carolinas, taking you all the way ultimately through New York State up into Canada.
Fox meteorologist Adam Klotz, former President Trump will rally in Montana after a long news conference attacking his Democratic rival.
It's about policy. It's not about her. I think she's incompetent. Because I've watched her.
And he says he and Vice President Harris have agreed to debate September 10th. The former president wants two more, Harris told reporters.
I'm happy to have that conversation about an additional debate.
America's listening to Fox.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here with urgent news. The world's central banks are making unprecedented moves, and it's time to pay attention. In 2022 and 2023, they bought more gold than ever before. And now in 2024, the trend is accelerating. Why? Because central banks have lost faith in the dollar. And in these uncertain times, gold is the ultimate safe haven. If you too are worried about the dollar, I urge you to take similar action by diversifying your IRA or 401k into gold with my trusted friends at Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. I trust Birch Gold. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax advantaged status. So text PROTECT to 989898. That's PROTECT to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Message and data rates may apply.
The Morning Extra, only on Extra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra on Friday. Remember that old 96 Rock thing back in the day when they had the, I think the River uses it now, but it's like the Friday weekend whistle or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And it was this, I don't know, 3 or 4 minute thing, and it was just drops about Friday and songs about Friday. I feel like we need one of those.
We do.
Something. We need something.
Even Rebecca Black just played that Friday. So actually, let's not do that.
All right. But, I mean,
She
just
got enough out of that. There.
anything celebrating Friday is good to me.
Well, we had Chimpanzee riding on a Segway, but then you did away with it.
Well, I didn't. What are you talking about? I did away.
I mean,
I didn't do
that
away
was
with
like a perfect Friday song, like an earworm stuck in your mind. Everything was happy after that.
Joe, play it. Do we have it? Play it.
You just can't just tell him to just do something on the fly.
Right.
Well,
Joe's busy.
Well, I'm saying, you said I got rid of it. I didn't get rid of it. I wouldn't even know how to get rid of it. And the internet, you can't get rid of anything. The internet doesn't let anything, like, it's always there.
Joe, I'm glad that you're here, Joe, to take these random requests and just look over at Tug like, well, you want what?
Well,
come on.
No. Well, you're the one that brought it up. You said that I got rid of it.
I said you got rid of it.
I never got rid of it. I didn't have it to get rid of it. That's what I'm saying. Like, how could I be the one?
Yeah, I'm not sure yet.
Rhino's like, I don't even know what the hell y'all talking about.
I'm just saying that
Was there a song for the monkey on the Segway?
Yeah, we played it one time. We did play it one time.
I kind of remember it.
It's like months and
trying
months
to
ago,
remember.
wasn't it?
I'll just say this. If you ever hear it, you can't unhear it.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like those images, like, you know, when you see something that's so horrific, it's like it never gets out of your mind.
Yeah.
This is in a happy way.
Is it the one on the 10-hour loop of the monkey driving the Segway?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
I'm all in for a 10-hour loop of
and
that.
you just can't get rid of it in your head.
Isn't it just like monkeys riding down a Segway, monkey riding, and then that's the way it goes?
I'm not even going to say what it is.
Well, Joe should have it up by
because
now.
I don't want to lure anyone in.
Joe's
to
searching
then have this earworm. All right, like that's what happens.
Poor Joey, I mean, he is like
Joey's working.
When the earworm starts, you can't get rid of it.
No, you're right.
Like, have you ever gone into a weekend, especially on a Friday, as you're talking about it? Oh.
Riding on the Segway. Riding on the Segway.
Okay, I remember it now.
I do too.
This is a Friday song.
Yeah, it is.
He's got a helmet on. He's wearing overalls.
I should have worn my overalls today.
Z riding on a Segway. Riding on a Segway. Riding on a Segway.
I'm sorry, America.
Well, now we have a new opening song with Tug providing the lyrics.
Somebody is going to be mowing their yard tomorrow, and they're just randomly going to go.
That's right.
Yep, there it is.
I want to get it. I want to get it from my iPod.
They're going to go, he's got a helmet on. He's got overalls.
Chimpanzee riding on a
Segway. Welcome to Friday, everybody.
Boys and girls, we're off the rails. It's 6 minutes in.
Didn't take long.
It typically does not. But this weekend's going to be, I almost am sad. But I am kind of. I mean, my son goes back to college. I mean, it's been nice having him home for the 3 months of summer, and now he's going to be gone.
Bye, kid.
Yeah,
have fun.
It's like,
he'll be back.
You're going to be playing cats in
laundry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just all weekend long.
Yeah. Cats in the cradle.
Now, are you driving him back today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Yeah. So what I say is to keep yourself happy.
Yep.
Why don't you just play Monkeys on a Segway the whole ride there?
Yeah, look, I think
Chimpanzees.
He asked for the keys.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because he's taking his car this time. So yeah, he's we just got to drive 2 cars over. The silver spoon.
Yeah, he's basically going to be like so sad.
A man on the moon. Come on, I'm gonna miss you, son.
It's hard, man.
It is, dude.
I don't even like should my kid like.
Harry Shaver, this is the real deal too. This is an Ugly Kid Joe.
No, that's a good one.
When you're coming home, son, I don't know when. Yeah, sad, man. I mean, like, I just dread it a little bit. Y'all will experience it one day, and especially if they go off. Like
I don't want any part of it.
I know, but it's coming, dude.
I know
it's coming your way.
I know
it's coming all of our way.
I'm trying to convince my son to go to like a school near a vacation spot, kind of like Charleston.
Yeah, man, it's a good
somewhere
idea.
I can end up on a beach.
Yeah, no, it's a good idea for sure.
And he's gonna be like, "No, I go to Kennesaw State," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's."
I ain't taking a vacation in Kennesaw. I just drive over there for the day.
Yeah,
and then drive back to Canton. Or Ackworth. Yeah. But yeah, so there's that little bit of me that is a little hole in my heart this morning.
Oh.
Yeah, it's tough. It's all right.
Did you bring your pistol?
No. I did not today.
not like Kimmer. Just I might or I might not. I don't know.
Seriously.
I might or I might not.
I'm just sad. I think I want to just wear out that couch. Blam, blam. Shoot holes in the couch.
Do I need to hide mine? Because I'm sitting like right in front of you and the couch.
No, I don't have mine. All right. I'm good. I didn't bring it with me. So I think we're all good. No, it's just
more of a Kimmer thing.
Yeah, it is. And his Desert Eagle, man, it would destroy that couch. I mean, that's a nice rooms to go Eric Church edition couch.
That's right.
But and
then every now and then Kimmer just he just starts spinning it on his finger, going just I might or I might not. We'll see.
I could blow a hole in this wall the size of that door. I just walk through.
I'm gonna shoot my arm or I won't. You'll see.
Yeah, exactly. I hope he never thinks that.
He just spins around in the chair. Pete's ducking every other segment. He doesn't know.
He just keeps screaming.
As you get older, your blood gets thinner. If you shoot your arm off,
it's done.
Oh yeah, maybe you never know.
You might not bounce back from that.
There might not be any clotting going on.
It'd be like one of those scary movies where the blood just splurts out uncontrollably.
Yes, that's exactly
looks ridiculous.
Right. You need to do yourself.
Could you imagine if he doused Pete in his Kimber blood? And then as Pete's looking at him, he's of course he'd be screaming like no Ricky Bobby.
That's right.
Might do.
I'm thinking that's the way it would go. Oh my Lord, what a mess. What's everybody else got? Because I got a sad weekend. What's everybody else got going on?
Liam and I are probably just going to go paddle boarding on the lake.
Good. I like that.
Nothing exciting.
That's exciting. I like that.
I mean that's fun. Just our relaxation time.
Yeah, I like that. That's fun, dude. That'll be a good time.
We were going to go to Gatlinburg for the weekend.
And
then
that's fun times. The Redneck Riviera in the mountains.
Yeah, but I decided, you know what? They got fall break coming up in September.
Yeah, just go then.
Have a few extra days, at least, take one day that I can take him up up there and spend at least 3 days there. Because,
Yeah.
we looked and they have those big water parks and
indoor water parks.
Yeah, that wilderness resort is amazing.
Where'd you stay there before?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Dude.
But it's $300 a night, and if I left today,
I did not know that.
Yeah, if I left today after the show,
it's a luxury.
It's like $600 to
set up
to go to a water park for a day and a quarter. No,
I do a lot of hotel rooms over the last several years, and most of the time, like $190, $200. These are like nice hotel rooms. If you told me it was $300, like there better be a masseuse in there.
Right.
Like somebody better be like rubbing Rhino's feet when he pushes the button.
Exactly.
Does that feel good, Mr. Rhino? Is that the spot right there?
Mr. Rhino, can I get you another sandwich?
Well, yes, you can.
That's what it should be for $300 a night.
Can you rub up below my kneecaps?
Yes.
Get that shin in there.
Absolutely. Now ride your Segway down to the bar and grab me a beer.
Exactly. And that person just goes, "Yes, sir, Mr. Rhino." That should be for $300.
No kidding, man. $300 a $1 man. That is
that's pricey.
Real.
Woo.
But I mean, it's that way everywhere, though, dude. When we go to Charleston to stay, I mean, you know what I tell them? I don't think it's $300. It's probably $200, but still.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like I'm used to like that realm.
180, 189,
200. That's pretty standard at this point.
It sucks, though.
Yeah,
Gosh,
I know.
It sucks.
Trust me, there's nothing crazier than when we, especially with as much travel as we had, like when we went and did Iowa, we were only there the one night, but the one night's $200.
Yeah, exactly.
And before then, we were in Dallas. Before then, we were in Orlando. Every single one of those evenings, at least $200.
Oh man, you got to have lots of money to
you got to have a credit card that you just go the next month. Go, oh God,
yeah, oh
yeah,
like, take it back. Somebody take it back. This has to be some sort of devil worship. This craziness with the credit cards and the expenses and all that stuff. Nobody can afford this. Kamala, shut up. Nobody can afford this.
Chimpanzee, right?
And on the Segway. Yeah.
See, that's how it works.
Dude, it'll get in there for you.
It makes everything better.
Old Joe Biden, he woke up. I mean, randomly.
He's still around.
He is, surprisingly, yes. And he was talking about the peaceful transfer of power if, after the election, because he'll no longer be there, so he'll have to hand that off to somebody. And he said this about Donald Trump and the peaceful transfer of power.
Are you confident that there will be a peaceful transfer of power in January 2025?
If Trump wins, no, I'm not confident at all. I mean, if Trump loses, I'm not confident at all. He means what he says. We don't take him seriously. He means it. All the stuff about if we lose, there'll be a bloodbath. It'll have to be a stolen election. Look what they're trying to do now in the local election districts where people count the votes. They're putting people in place in states that they're going to count the votes, right?
I have no idea what he just said.
Oh, I do.
I do.
Well, dude, he stumbles and stammers. He has no clue what he's talking about. I know what he's saying, but at the same time, there's nothing of substance to what he said. Nothing.
So I heard Kimmer get into this, and understand, Kimmer's going to be a lot more animated because he's a lot more drugs. Okay, that's part of what happens.
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't know that.
But Viagra gets your heart going.
That's right. But Kimmer is he is not wrong when he got into this. We are 26 days removed from that man being shot in the face.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And in part of why he was shot in the face was that sort of talk.
Yeah.
And he's sitting back going, he's telling America, hey, if he wins, he's going to cause problems. If he loses, he's going to cause problems. You're signaling the crazy people.
Right. No, but as I'm saying, like, normal people, when they hear that, normal people, they question his sanity because he sounds crazy. If he wins, no, I don't. I mean, if he loses, no, I don't. So the point is, if Trump's elected, it is going to be a bloodbath, to use his term, to use Joe Biden's term, because what you saw in the Summer of Love, that's going to be November. I mean, they are going to unload. I mean, I've started loading up on water in the basement.
Yeah.
And look, have a lot that will last for quite some time. My wife kind of makes fun of me.
Well, don't tell everybody.
Well,
I know.
The truth.
Well, he's got the moat.
Keep this under wraps.
Can't nobody get to it.
One thing that
is protected by 12 gauges.
I thought the first part of that was very telling. Sometimes they say things, it's called a Freudian slip. When he said, if he wins, yes, there will be a bloodbath. Well, that's what I would expect, that the left will continue to take out, just like Carlos said.
Summer
and
of
Kimmer,
love, man.
I heard the same thing that Kimmer said yesterday afternoon as well.
I was busy watching the Braves lose. news.
We've already heard Chuck Schumer. I turned it on for 2 minutes, and I was like, that's enough.
Right.
But Chuck Schumer and everyone else is telling you right away that if he does win, they're coming after him. Jamie Raskin flat out told you that they're going to go against the Constitution, make up their own interpretation of the 14th Amendment, Section 3, and try to remove him. And again, if Donald Trump wins, then the Democrats will do everything. This is why they want the House and Senate to shut down anything being done for 4 years, anything to protect the economy, anything to fix the economy, because they know that's the end of their reign and the entire Reich will go down. So this is something that, I thought was Freudian. At the same time, this is also when Kamala Harris stands up on a stage and says, they're running on hate, they're running on fear. That's the fear that they're putting out there, and the fear that causes these people to go out and do crazy things like assassinate Donald Trump or try to assassinate. Yeah. Unfortunately for them, we know what their game is and how to take him out of power. We know how they're going to use and leverage the court system. We're seeing that every single day as well. They want nothing but chaos in this country because it keeps us divided.
That is exactly all. That's correct. And here's your options. Kamala wins and the country goes to hell, or continues on this grease pole to hell. If Trump wins, the left will absolutely set the country on fire. Both are really, really bad to think about, right? But at least if Trump is a law and order candidate, like what we expect to do, he's going to clean all that up. Now there's going to be pain in there in the beginning, but that's all you can hope for, because if we continue down this path, the country doesn't exist to begin with.
No, you have the choice as of now. This is a battle between the globalists and the nationalists, and that is how it comes down to. And so if you want to choose globalization, if you want to choose the decision to elect someone where they're not really in charge, it's everyone around them is in charge, and they're all globalist, well, then you go that direction. If you want to steer things back to nationalism, well, then you go with Donald Trump. It's a very simple choice. Now, the problem ends up being both of them end up having one side, Kamala's side, ending up being violent.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Well, but here's the other thing that we hadn't brought up, and it just came to me, is the fact that they're going to try to not certify the election. That's the other thing.
Oh, yeah. I told you that like 4 months ago. They won't do it.
They said it out loud. I mean, they've said, I forget which cut was. I mean, we played it on the show. But they basically said, we're not going to certify the election. We're just not sure.
They're not going to certify the election, and then you're going to have endless impeachments based on the fact that Donald Trump was convicted in a court of law.
Everything they've told you that Donald Trump is going to do, rip up the Constitution, they've already started and tried.
Yeah, they've got it all planned out.
Yeah, when they say, Trump controls this extreme conservative Supreme Court, they're the ones trying to stack the court, number one. Number two, they're the ones who are trying to attack the court and take over the court by imposing rules on them because they want to control the executive, the legislative, and the judicial branch of this country. This is an idea of communism. This is Marxism. Anybody who sits here and goes, oh, she's not a Marxist, remember who her parents are.
Yeah.
Remember who her parents are.
Listen to the words coming out of her mouth. That would tell you differently.
And listen to the words coming out of her mouth. She is, not even her. It's the party behind it that is really controlling in certain ways. Their propaganda is strong.
No doubt.
I've never seen so much on Twitter. Because, you have the For You and the following tabs.
Yeah,
and you go to the For You, you see everybody who says things about politics, including the left. And I feel like they are the most delusional group of people I have ever seen right now. And the lies that they continue to put out there. And when you look at what they're saying, you're like, hold on, that's your party. That's your party. When they're saying, hey, because I think Trump yesterday in the press conference, when he talked about, anybody who's Jewish and votes for the Democrats right now needs to have their head examined. I 100% as a Jewish man agree with Donald Trump on that. Because as I look at the Nazi Socialist Party and the way that they came to power by taking over the government, by installing someone, because that's what was done, was Hitler was appointed as chancellor, the very same way that after a little over 4,500 votes, because that's all that Kamala Harris had, 4,500 paid Democrat delegate votes. Out of 330 million people in this country, 4,500, I think it was 4,578, I think is total.
We'll round up 4,600.
That are paid by the Democrat Party. They selected the candidates for you. So you tell me which one aligns more with a Nazi socialist party, especially one that calls themselves the Democrat Socialist Party.
All you have to do is turn on the news and you'll get the talking points, because 96% of the news media agrees with every bit of it. Why do you think they don't challenge Kamala? Why do you think they don't ask her questions? Even when they have a moment to, they don't. And they accept the fact that she doesn't answer anything.
Did you get a kick out of listening to, and it was Fox News ended up having it, where they did a side-by-side, and it was Kamala Harris doing two different campaign appearances, and both of them, she said the exact same.
5. There's been 5 on it.
I was going to say,
I saw it on Twitter. There's been 5 of them.
The same thing. It just happened to be the same day.
Yeah.
And so all she did was just plug in. It was almost like you were in a scenario where you were like a touring band.
Yeah.
You're like hello, Cleveland! And then got into your thing. And
Hello, Detroit!
Hello, Detroit!
Yeah.
It was the exact same thing. This woman is so fake and manufactured.
Philadelphia, Atlanta, Minnesota.
Every one of them.
It's all the same exact speech. The only difference is she changes the name on this election goes through, insert Philadelphia, insert Atlanta, insert Michigan.
Yeah. It's nuts, man. Y'all remember during COVID when all the news channels had the same COVID messaging, and they're like, "We will get through this together.
We're all in this together."
Yeah, exactly. And it was
Michigan.
I mean, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of local news outlets. It's nuts how calculated this is. Janelle King joins us next to discuss how the state elections board is trying to ensure your vote is secure in November. Next on Xtra 1063.
Xtra 1063 is committed to bringing you the local and national perspective you need and hearing your voice leading up to the election.
You're not going to believe what Kamala has just called for.
Oh, what now?
The enactment of gun confiscation laws, universal gun registration, and a ban on commonly owned firearms. Basically, everything that's unconstitutional. She wants a gun confiscation.
Oh, thank you. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Georgia, how about you conservatives who didn't want to vote for that damn Herschel Walker? How about voting for keeping your guns?
Proud to be Atlanta's conservative news and talk station, Xtra 1063 and the Xtra app.
We're watching as the stock market crash this week and crash to a point where we have to actually take into effect that we might be in a depression. You heard Tug earlier talking about making sure he had enough water in his basement just in case. We're not far from an election, and, well, we heard Joe Biden talk about it. There will be a bloodbath if Donald Trump wins. And if that is the case, well, you want to make sure that you're safe. You want to make sure that you're home, and you want to make sure that your family's safe. And there's one place in Marietta on Cobb Parkway that you can assure that your family will be safe in any kind of emergency, and that's True Prep. Marietta, Cobb Parkway. They're a locally owned and operated company. You tell them Rhino sent you. Matt and Joey, Georgia Tech graduates who love this community and make sure that you are safe. That's what they do. And they do it not only for them, but also for you because they want to share their knowledge with you. Go in there and ask for Amy, Matt, Joey, or any of the professionals over at True Prep. And if you're new to it, tell them, hey, listen, maybe I'm a little behind. I need to get started today. Where do I need to start? And they'll help you. Or they even have classes, workshops, important workshops. Their AR-15 builder class this weekend, it's an amazing class. If you want to learn about gun safety, about how to take care of your weapon, then True Prep is your place in Marietta on Cobb Parkway. They also have workshops like Intro to Emergency Preparedness, water filtration, and even long-term food storage. Guys, make sure your family's safe. Make sure you're safe. And make sure you have the essentials in case of any emergency at True Prep in Marietta on Cobb Parkway. Once again, tell them Rhino sent you down there and they'll get you started right away. Go right now. Look at the workshops at trueprep.com. That's TRU TruePrep.com. Prepare today for a worry-free tomorrow with True Prep.
As an official community partner of the Atlanta Braves and the Atlanta Braves Foundation, the Warrior Alliance connects warriors and their families to free services such as health and wellness, housing, employment, education, legal services, and so much more. We need your financial support to increase our impact and change thousands of lives for those who served in the U.S. Armed Forces. It takes more than just thank you for your service. Make a donation to help warriors navigate to success after service. Go to thewarrioralliance.org/donate and make a difference today.
I enjoy a good night's sleep, and I like to breathe while I'm sleeping. My wife appreciates that, too. That's why I wear a CPAP. You want the right machine. You want expert advice. You want all the supplies that go with it. You get it all at CPAPs, etc. in Alpharetta. Machines, masks, tubing, filters, cleaning supplies, all of it, and they ship nationwide. Walk-ins, by the way, are welcome. CPAPs, etc. Alpharetta, CPAPSETC.com.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Have you considered securing your family's future? Protecting your hard-earned assets, navigating complex legal matters with ease. Nelson Elder Care Law is here to guide and empower you and your loved ones. As a family-owned and family-focused business, our mission is to exceed your expectations, offering absolute assurance and peace of mind. With our trademark Absolute Protection Trust and expertise in customized estate planning, Medicaid crisis solutions, probate administration, guardianship, and conservatorship, Nelson Elder Care Law protects what matters most to you. Imagine a team dedicated to safeguarding your legacy every step of the way. Our flat fees ensure transparency, and our customized plans prioritize your family's specific needs. Are you worried about protecting your family and your legacy after you're gone? Let us help you ensure you're absolutely protected from whatever curveballs life may throw your way. Schedule a complimentary legacy planning meeting with our legal team in Marietta or Woodstock today. Contact us at 678-250-9355 or visit NelsonElderCareLaw.com.
Get the Extra 106.3 app.
Yeah, I got your app. I live out here 30 miles west of Augusta. I'm so glad Conservative Talk is back on the air.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. When Janelle King reaches out and says, hey, I got a few minutes, can I come on and talk about the stuff that we're doing down at the Georgia election?
Yes, ma'am.
Board. We're like, yes, absolutely. And she joins us now. Janelle, our favorite guest in the entire world and a woman after my own heart. Thank you for being here.
Hey, thank you for having me. Love you guys.
Yeah, we love you too, you extremist Trump-loving election board member. Are you amazed by the way the
denier?
Yeah, you're an election denier now too. Are you amazed the way the AJC doesn't know your record, or even Fox 5, who you do the Georgia gang? And I'm reading an article on Fox 5 News, and I'm like, are you kidding me right now? You know Janelle better than anyone probably, and you're sitting here throwing out these lies.
I know. I'm not surprised at all. And to be quite frank, I've had several conversations, particularly with the AJC, several different quote unquote journalists. However, I think they prefer to be a gossip site, and that's definitely their prerogative. But when you have all the facts, you have both sides of the story, and you continue to write it one way, then that gives me all I need to know about where you are as far as your integrity. And they can have it. It doesn't change the fact that the decisions were made and that we have reasons behind why we made our decision.
Janelle, we actually played some audio earlier in the show of a Democrat getting up in front of people and talking about the importance of what the board is doing and why it is backed. It almost feels like you're getting a certain level of partisan hacks who've decided, well, even though both sides agree we should do this to protect our elections, we're going to play this game because it sells newspapers.
Yeah, and it happens on both sides, A lot of the challenges that I'm having with what's happening here, it goes both ways. It's not like I'm getting 100% support from Republicans and Republican leaders and 100% and 100% anti from the left. What we're doing and the rules that we are supporting, and I'm going to speak for myself and say I'm supporting because I'm not speaking for the board, but those rules will benefit all Georgians and will benefit all voters. So, I mean, we hear it from both sides. I hear pros and cons from both sides of the aisle, and that's the way it should be. What took place at our board meeting is democracy. it's exactly what we're supposed to be doing. We debate the issues and we come to a conclusion.
Janelle King joins us on Extra 106.3. We know about the folks being able to observe in the tabulation room. Were there other rules that were passed that people might not know about? Because we hit on the first one.
Yeah, no. So that one, we definitely spoke to Sally Grubb. It's all kind of intertwining right now. Who was who? We did so much work, and it was over the course of 2 days. But let's do this. I'll get you exactly what we've done. I want to make sure I'm not speaking out of turn or saying something incorrect. But there's a couple of things that we passed that, or that we sit into rulemaking. So the way the process goes is, a petition comes before us that they petition the board to either correct a rule, create a rule, or whatnot, and then we vote on whether or not we should initiate rulemaking. And then once it goes into rulemaking, then we have 30 days for the public to reach out to us, as well as there will be a public comment section at the next meeting, which will be within 30 days. And, just to make sure that we're doing our due diligence, we're hearing both sides, both arguments, and then we come back, and that's when we actually vote to put it in place. There were two that we did vote on. Now, I think but the thing that's being talked about the most is in reference to our decision to send a particular matter to the Attorney General's office rather than killing it on the spot.
Janelle King joining us, the better half of Kelvin King, and also on the state election board. And that is an interesting thing that we're going back. We look at the 3,000 double counted votes, and Chris Carr's office has not responded yet. You did send over a letter. Do you think they'll take this up?
Well, I mean, we have what we asked them to do was to investigate it, and we stated in our motion, or in Dr. Janice Johnston's motion, was that if you refuse to, then they must hire outside counsel or seek outside investigators to do it. Either way, it has to get done, or we will seek outside investigators to do it. But it's going to get done. But we're giving the first opportunity to our Attorney General's office because that is the proper way that we should do it. So we're watching to see what happens. The motion was passed last night, so it has to be drawn up and all of that before it's sent over. So that's why they don't have it. I find it interesting that was the initial response, which makes sense. They don't have it, but it's because it happened last night. But it's certainly on the way to their desk. And, and I have confidence that Chris Carr, our Attorney General, is going to take this seriously. For me, I wasn't present when the matter first came before the board. However, it was still something being talked about and possibly addressed when I did join the board. So I did my research. And the thing that stood out to me the most is that if you have a matter where it was sent to the governor's office and the governor sends a letter to the Secretary of State's office stating that I believe it was 39 errors that he can confirm that did take place. And then the board before me, the previous board, decides that the proper protocol is not to investigate this matter, not to find out what happened to these ballots or even see if they still exist somewhere. But they decided to send a letter of reprimand. That did not sit right with me as well. And that's why I supported this motion. I feel like this matter deserves a little bit of a looking into. If my job is to create rules, then I need to see if something went wrong. I need to find out where it went wrong so that we can help address that so it doesn't happen again, not just for us as Republicans, but for all candidates.
Janelle King is our guest on the Morning Extra, and I want to follow up right there, Janelle, because your question and your answer goes right into this. I understand why the other side gets upset with this issue. I think, obviously, when it comes to voting, there's always going to be something they're going to point at. What I was curious about is our side. Is it strictly just a matter of trying to curtail the possibility of having egg on our face over stuff we've done in the past, or is there legitimate reasons why our side questions what y'all are up to?
I think that there is a human nature side to this, right? I think as a human being, there are people who really want to just move on. And I must say that was my initial perspective walking into this. I'm not one who have said that we need to keep relitigating, and I still don't agree with relitigating. You have to keep in mind what we're asking for is to know where these ballot images are. We're not asking for what's on the ballot. So this may not change anything. That's not a matter for us at all. What we want to know is what happened, when this broke down, what happened. And if you're telling me that you do have ballot images available, but you're not showing them to me, then I want to know why. So it's just us trying to figure out what happened, not necessarily what happened in the outcome, but just what happened in the process, the whole chain of custody as it relates to our election process.
Yeah,
that's what we're focusing on.
Right, which I think that's what most fair-minded people want to know. Like, we all feel like something happened, right? I just want to be assured that we've figured out what it was, and that way it can't be repeated.
I want to be proven wrong.
Well, I would love to be proven wrong, but I don't believe we're going to be proven wrong. That's the thing. And I want to know that it can't happen again.
Yeah, that would be nice to know. Hey, Janelle, let me ask you this, too, because you guys went out and did something that I think is very important, is asking for a reasonable inquiry into any of the votes or anything that's going on before certification. Now, of course, the left is saying that this is just a way for them to cause another insurrection. That's not true. And then Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger comes out and says Georgia's Election Integrity Act requires counties to certify the election results by November 12th, and we fully anticipate that counties will follow the law. It seems like he's not on board for actually protecting the elections the way he's going after the board.
Well, it's actually pretty tricky the way he said that. I actually agree with him. We're 100% on board with following the law, and that's what this Mr. Hinkie, who brought this forward, Heekin, who brought this forward, he's not asking to extend the time allotted to certify. Mm-hmm. He's asking to have the opportunity to do due diligence before each of these county officials sign their name on an affidavit stating that the information that's coming from their precinct or their county is accurate and correct. If you are not sure about that, then they need to have the opportunity to do their due diligence within the allotted time frame to certify. What the other side of this argument wants is for there to be a lack of a due diligence. They have this term that it's ministerial. It's not ministerial. You're signing a legal document, and you're putting these people at harm if you're telling them to sign something, even if they don't feel confident in what they're signing. No business person would do that. So that's all we're saying. It does not change anything in the law. We're following the law to a T.
And see, that's, I think, why most people are uncomfortable with our elections that are 90 days, right at 90 days away from right now. They're like, dude, I don't feel confident when I go in the voting booth here in Georgia that my vote is going to count the way it's supposed to. And anybody that's opposed to that due diligence that you just talked about, they know I feel this way, and they don't care that I feel this way. They're completely comfortable with me being uncomfortable.
Well, there's one of the issues that we see, particularly on the board, is I'm sitting here, I'm 2 board meetings in, and I'm listening to cases that were from years ago. Why is that? That makes no sense to me. And the reason why is because of policies like what they're pushing. They're pushing policies that says we'll fix the problem on the back end. That does not make sense. No. If I can clearly see where the problem is in this particular county or this particular precinct, and I have the ability to address it now, that's what we should do.
Yes. That's right.
Anything outside of that makes no sense to me. It's not good business practice. And as a businesswoman, I can't help but to lean on that. And so that's why I am, and I did support that particular rule and the other rules that were presented in front of us.
Yeah, it's unbelievable that we're even in this situation this close to the election, knowing what happened 4 years ago, and we still don't have it right. Thank you for the fight. Thank you for trying. Thank you for caring enough to be out there, spending your time away from your business with your husband, away from y'all's business. So this is taking away from you being successful in the private marketplace to fix or try to fix what is wrong in the public forum. And that's thank you. That's all I can say is thank you, because I know how hard y'all work, and I just appreciate what you're doing, because it matters to me, and I know it matters to you. So thank you.
No, I really, really appreciate that. And I just have to say, I'm so appreciative of my husband, because it takes a lot of courage to do this. And when you have people threatening you left and right with lawsuits and all this other stuff, and then you come home and you're like, hey, husband, this is a situation. I know we're supposed to be defended, by this particular office, but I'm not sure. And he says, you're fine. We're good. Keep going. Keep doing what's right. That is appreciative.
That's right.
Having that support does help.
He's a good man.
He's a good man. He should be our senator right now.
That's exactly right. Should be. 100% should be.
Don't tell him I said that. I don't want his head getting bigger.
No, but I just love the fact that, because I know how Kelvin is, and the fact that I bet when he comes home or you come home and you're frustrated, he's ready to go down there and fix the problem. Because you know what I mean?
Time. Oh, yeah. He's like, I'm holding it down. I'm holding it together here.
That's right.
Do you need me?
Yeah, because I'm liable to go down there.
Right.
So good. All right, you're welcome back anytime, and anything that we can do to help promote or publicize anything that you need to discuss when it comes to Georgia's State Electric Board, you're always welcome. You're just a text and a phone call away, and we'll get you on the air right away.
Oh, you're so great. Thank you so much, and I so appreciate what y'all are doing. Keep doing what's right, and I love it.
Always the best, Janelle King. Thank you so much. When we come back, more streamers are clapping back at Kamala Harris. They're not interested in being her mouthpiece. The next example, next on Extra 106.3.
Extra 106.3 is the only station in Atlanta to bring you unedited news, information, and updates. With an all-star lineup of local and network voices, Extra is committed to being the station you need during the biggest election of our lifetime.
This presidential election is unlike any other.
Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station is Extra 106.3 FM, and listen across Georgia on the Extra app.
Yes, sir. If you want your house to stay comfortable, no matter what the temperature is outside, let me encourage you to get a maintenance agreement with Central Heating and Air Conditioning. You can do that easily at 770-GET-HEAT or centralheat.com. Chuck and his team been servicing Atlanta for 77 years. Family owned. There's so many companies that say they're local. There's so many companies that have been bought out. They still use that local name, hoping that you won't realize that they're now some big corporate conglomerate that couldn't care less about you. So that's why you should work with Central Heating and Air Conditioning.
I thank you for reminding me. I have to do my renewal.
Oh, well,
on my yearly, yeah. I forgot about it.
Make that a little mark on the calendar. That way you don't forget. Because you and I both have had this happen recently, where we had to have them out, and by golly, they get out there in less than 24 hours.
And man, when it's hot, you need it.
Yes, sure. And this fall, now look, for me, I mean, anything below about 50 is too cold for me. But I'm not strong. I mean, most people are. I'm not.
I've seen your burger time scores. I think you're strong.
Yeah.
Just not that strong.
Yeah, I'm strong at making burgers and burger time, but not strong when it's cold outside. And maybe you feel the same way. Hate the cold weather. You want to make sure that maintenance agreement's intact, so you get those guys out there before the winter, and they do all the tests, they do all the maintenance, and your HVAC will work just the way it's supposed to. And it will be from a family-owned company that actually gives a crap about you. Yeah, it happens. There's so many that don't. They do at Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Chuck's a good dude. Give him a call. Him and his team take care of you. It is 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com.
Have you heard about Sonder and their Georgia-based Medicare Advantage health plans? Sonder Health Plans is committed to revolutionizing healthcare, making it straightforward, personal, and affordable. Call them and ask if you qualify for their fantastic $400 grocery card offer and $0 premiums. They've even got their own radio show and podcast called Weekend Wellness, dedicated to keeping all Georgians healthy and happy at every age. Call 800-331-2928 or visit SonderHealthPlans.com. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
Things at the ballpark are really heating up. If too much celebrating leaves you in trouble after the game, it's important to know who to call. Call A Second Chance Bail Bonds. We handle bonds from the stadium to the city, and in most cases, we can have you or your loved one out in a matter of hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT. That's 404-BAIL-OUT. Or online at atlbail.com.
Get ready for Real Talk on the Janelle King Show, where we tackle kitchen table topics that are banned from family gatherings, but crucial for a strong republic. Tune in every Saturday at 3 p.m. and every Sunday for an encore episode at 9 a.m. And if you can catch us live, great. But if not, no worries. New podcasts drop every Tuesday on the Podcast Park right here on Extra 106.3 or wherever you get your podcasts. Join us for insightful conversations that matter.
It's August 9th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Today is Book Lovers Day. If you wanted to read about the origins, you're out of luck. Its creation is a mystery, but it celebrates books. Go ahead, pick up a book and read it. In 1803, American inventor Robert Fulton takes his newly built paddle steamboat in the Seine River, which flows through Paris, France, for a test run. Unfortunately, the ship sank. Also on this day in 2020, Brazil passes 100,000 COVID-19 deaths. In 2017, in Ellipse Park, south of the White House, a political protest with a giant chicken resembling President Donald Trump. And in 1997, this single by Tim McGraw.
Just to see you smile, I'd do anything that you wanted me to.
Just to See You Smile becomes the Billboard Song of the Year in 1998. I'm CJ Papa. That's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
Your voice, your vote. And this year it matters more than ever. So for the unbiased election coverage that affects your family and your community, trust the voices that matter when it matters the most. Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
I'm going to be singing Tim McGraw Just to See You Smile all the rest of the day. That's going to be the earworm for me. It's no longer Chimpanzees on the Segway that we had early this hour.
Or Cats in the Cradle when your son goes back to college.
Yeah, which is tomorrow. All the way over to Charleston.
Just staring at your wrists.
Yeah.
Gonna have to figure this one out.
It's tough. It's tough. Yeah, no, it is. It's banned. I love that song. Just to See You Smile. Tim McGraw, so good. Song of the Year, I think he said 2004. The folks on the internet, however, they are they're having none of this Kamala Harris thing. She's got people reaching out to streamers, like trying to create this appearance of organic interest in her campaign, and they have none.
You are being lied to, and it's amazing the amount of people that have rolled right into it. Like when we got a chance to hear from our friend Liberal John, who called yesterday, and he was like, she's got all the momentum. I'm like, what momentum? Here's what the polling is.
Where is it?
It's like you're still behind by 5-6 points nationally, yet that's not talked about. So when you start seeing what's going on with her campaign, she's using AI to populate certain pictures to make it look like there's more people. She's going to events that already have a baked-in group. Yep. And now let me introduce you to FaZe Ronaldo. Now, you're not supposed to know FaZe Ronaldo.
Yes, I
didn't. I had no idea who.
FaZe is a clan. He's a gamer. All right. So, but he streams on a daily basis, so you can watch him play different things. So I want you to take a listen to FaZe Ronaldo, who has made it a point. By the way, he's 21, okay? So it's like, this is who the Biden campaign is reaching out to, trying to create this grassroots, trying to create this momentum. Take a listen to how Ronaldo responded to him trying to make his stream political.
But I will tell you one thing. Yo, Kamala Harris, stop hitting my team, you and the Secret Service, to do a stream. I am not doing a stream with any politicians, bro. Yo, Secret Service, stop hitting my team.
Look for the sub.
I'm not doing any stream, bro. Stop.
He's not doing any streams.
So first off, Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Camellia.
I always do that when I'm being disrespectful, but trying to act like I'm not being disrespectful. Like, so I do it. Like with my family, I do it all the time. Like I'll say the wrong name just on purpose. You know what I mean? And I think that's what he did too. I know. I think he did that on purpose.
I kind of get the impression that he's.
I think that's.
There's a lot of people that don't pay attention to this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we pay attention.
I think he knows her name. I think he's pissed that they won't leave him alone, and so he's doing that intentionally.
All right, so
it doesn't matter, but regardless.
So I now have another piece of audio for you, and this is because remember, it's not just when it comes to streaming on Twitch. If you've got something on Rumble. Oh, no. They'll reach out to OnlyFans as well. This person started breaking down what the Harris campaign, again, backed by this huge PAC money.
Were they clothed?
In this case, yes. This person was describing how exactly all this stuff works.
All right, guys, time for some drag queen story hour. So about a week ago, I received this email from a group called Palette Media or Palette Management. And basically what they were asking for is $1,500 for anti-Trump content on TikTok. So they basically sent me this kind of like creator brief with all the asks that they have and everything, and like do's and don'ts, like don't show any form of support for Donald Trump and his allies, gloat about Harris and her allies, attack Trump supporters for their intellectual or personal values. So they're basically creating division and paying for division online, which is crazy. So me being me, I was like, I kind of got to investigate this stuff. So I started like emailing back and forth with the lady. So I basically said, thank you for sending over. I will review. Is this for the Kamala campaign or for like a PAC's campaign? And basically I was able to investigate and find out that this is actually a campaign with Future Forward, which is kind of like one of the biggest super PACs. And they have like millions and millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars for advertisements for the Biden campaign and for the Harris campaign. So of course I looked them up and I found out all this information about all the money that they have, and yeah. Anyway, I just kind of wanted to come on to show you guys that yes, I'll sell my booty, but I ain't gonna sell my values.
Ooh.
Good Lord.
Dude, it's all fake,
The porn star won't even sell out.
You're talking about 96% of the media and then the campaign using millions of dollars to try and create this AstroTurf to make you think that she's gaining momentum.
But they've been doing this for how long with Harry Sisson and the Krasensteins and all of that. And yeah, I think it's more than ever. And they've obviously gotten to a lot of people already that have large followings that people pay attention to that are professional trolls at this point. Because one thing I noticed over the last few days especially is that the message from every single one of these people is exactly the same. And everything that person said about what they want them to say is exactly what you're starting to see on Twitter. If you go to a For You tab and you follow politics in any way or any politicians, you'll start getting them too. It's the same message over and over again. They create fear against Donald Trump, and this is a dangerous, dangerous precedent they're saying. I sit here and I get, these trolls all the time saying things to me or, calling me stupid, and it doesn't bother me. It doesn't, affect me in any way, but that's their game plan now, is to create division. That person was exactly right.
I had my son last night ask me, he was like, hey, Dad, why did they start calling J.D. Vance weird? And I was like, well, he's married with 2 kids and has been for a long time. Traditional values.
So strange.
They don't like it. So what are you going to do? You're going to, pretend that is a strange thing. But then it led to the bigger conversation of the talking points that go out to all the networks. And then I went on, Twitter and I typed in whatever it was, and then we could find multiple newscasts and doing the same type of thing, multiple commentators saying the same things. It was like, so the Democrat Party basically says, here's what we want to use.
Here's what we want you to say.
And they do.
And that's what they do.
And so it was enlightening for him, and he's like, really?
Yeah, there are the talking points that go out, and they are supposed to echo all the talking points. The weirdest one that I think that we've seen over the last week, or the amount of people, and they look foolish when they do it, and we'll probably be able to touch on this sort of stuff. When it comes to J.D. Vance, the ones that have been told, well, don't talk about his military service. Mm-hmm. In fact, downplay it like it never happened.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And that's typically their talking point. So when you start hearing this stuff and you go like, why? I just heard that on The View. Why am I hearing that on CNN? That's because the talking points went out.
And everybody's gotten them.
Here's what you're supposed to do.
And they run with it. The Washington Post, the New York Times, they all, and those are kind of the point people, for the messaging, because most of the TV networks take their talking points from the New York Times and Washington Post.
What I really like about the streaming community is that
transparency.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
Very rarely, and you'll have sometimes, and sometimes it's around certain games where you will have different streamers that will play that game for that 24-hour period to basically be like, hey, look, I played the game, I did this, I promoted your game, I took my money to go ahead and do it. But so much of that community really comes down to you're live, it's you for like 3 or 4 hours, so it has to be authentic. And these people are like, I will not push a political situation. I won't take money from a PAC telling me that I have to promote this particular person on my stream.
Yeah. It's smart by them.
I love it.
I mean, if they want to keep their business going, it's smart not to play the game in politics at all, either side. Stay away from both of it and just do your gaming and do your playing, and that's fine. I know everybody wants to make money, and some people are going to be bought, and it's apparent they have. Yesterday, a press conference, the same message came across from every one of these influencers that continues, the JoJo's from Jersey, the Brooklyn dad, all of them that get paid.
I have no idea.
It's just that they, like, those people, you know what it is. You know what it's going to be. When they use those particular people, it's the fact that they're trying to go after these people that are typically not political, and they're the ones that are being like, get off of my stream.
Good for them. I think most people don't know who they are. Most people in our
OnlyFans
audience.
accounts. He's like, get off of my OnlyFans.
What do you say? I'll sell my booty bank, sell my back.
That's right.
Good Lord. I mean, wow.
Freaking Sketch is next.
Yeah, right. That's right. Sketch for Kamala Harris. Here now.
I think he's learned his lesson.
Do you think? Maybe. All right, we're going to take a break. Fox News update, and then we'll be back with more of the Morning Extra. Tug, Rhino, and Los.
Extra 106.3 is committed to bringing you the local and national perspective you need and hearing your voice leading up to the election.
There are things that really worry me now about the upcoming election. It is inconceivable that the people of this country would ever vote for Kamala Harris for president. She is without accomplishment.
Proud to be Atlanta's conservative news and talk station. Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Diamonds Direct Atlanta is now open. The nation's fastest growing jewelry store now has a location right here in Buckhead. Shopping for the perfect ring to pop the question? Or maybe an everyday diamond tennis bracelet? The experts at Diamonds Direct are sure to have exactly what you're looking for, no matter the occasion. With the lowest direct importer pricing, you can expect the best selection of certified diamonds at unmatched prices, all within a luxury showroom atmosphere that makes you feel right at home. Come see what other jewelers are trying to replicate. Diamonds Direct's unbeatable after the sale guarantees and warranties are the best you can find. Free cleanings, sizing, polishing, accent diamond replacement for the lifetime of your purchase. If that's not enough, they also offer a 110% upgrade policy for you to use as often as you'd like on your diamond engagement ring, pendant, or studs. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, come see how Diamonds Direct is reinvigorating the jewelry industry at their brand new Buckhead showroom. When you want to have complete confidence in your jewelry buying experience, shop with the experts at Diamonds Direct. Now open on the corner of Maple Drive Northeast and Peachtree.
Hey Atlanta, it's Ben, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Peach State Pride. Each and every weekend, we bring you all the issues going on around the globe and what America's ultimate role is in order to drive our agenda forward as conservatives. And if you ever miss an episode, you can download everything I've ever done on Apple, Spotify, or you can go to the podcast park. See you around, Atlanta.
Hi, this is Ben.
And I'm Walt from Horizon Background Screening. About 15 years ago, I was running a private investigations company, and my partner Ben here was running a background screening company and saw the need to put the two together. The background screening helps employers, churches, volunteer organizations, and those sorts of things to help find the right people, get those right people in place, and screen out people that would be a hindrance to their company. On the other end, the investigative work, we can help companies, individuals, insurance companies, law firms gather information, a lot of times around lawsuits and other legal work like that, but also helping people when they're going through a divorce or going through other hard things in life.
25 plus years, we've just been blessed with growth and have basically become a nationwide provider of both pre-employment background checks and private investigative services.
The best way for people to find us is on our website. A quick Google search of Horizon Background Screening or look at us at horizonscreening.com.
Fox on Tech.
Ready to fact-check some online videos? YouTube is now inviting the first round of users to be their eyes and ears for a program announced back in June. When Elon Musk bought Twitter and turned it into X, he did away with the staff of fact-checkers, especially after learning of potential bias and involvement with government investigators. And he turned to X's users at large to help with fact-checking, and thus came community notes. X posts with questionable claims or with altered media are called out and affixed with tags citing sources. YouTube thinks such a model is a good idea, where instead of users voicing displeasure in one of potentially many comments below the video, they'll experiment with community fact-checking systems authored by users but independently reviewed by a third party. YouTube has often been criticized for its algorithms promoting videos pushing false information or unprovable claims. With Fox on Tech, I'm Evan Brown, Fox News.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Van Sant Law, vansantlaw.com.
There will be a Trump-Harris debate. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, on September 10th on ABC, which had been set when President Biden was still running. Former President Trump, who will rally today in Montana, wants 2 more debates with his new Democratic candidate, Vice President Harris.
Everything she's touched has turned to bad things.
The former president at his Florida resort spoke for more than an hour, critical that Harris hasn't taken questions.
She can't do a news conference. She doesn't know how to do a news conference. She's not smart enough to do a news conference.
Well, the vice president says she's glad that he agreed to September 10th and told reporters in a brief conversation she'll consider more debates. And
I've talked to my team. I want us to get an interview scheduled before the end of the month.
The Vice President Harris said at a union gathering in Michigan,
the true measure of the strength of a leader is not based on who you beat down. It's based on who you lift up.
She and her running mate Tim Walz will rally today in Arizona. Debbie is now a post-tropical cyclone over the Washington, D.C. area, moving quickly toward the northeast, possibly spawning tornadoes and causing more flooding, like from Florida up to the Carolinas, where they got a ton of rain.
12 to 15 inches. So, and that's why we've got water in the house.
There's been a third arrest in Austria, tied to the terror plot that canceled 3 Taylor Swift Vienna concerts. An 18-year-old who's not directly connected to the plot, but who had pledged allegiance to ISIS.
But officials at the next stop of the Stars World Tour, London, England, appear to be undeterred. Senior officers say there's no indication events in Austria have brought any additional threat. Swift has 5 shows scheduled for the British capital next week.
As Fox's Jonathan Savage, the U.S. and Egypt and Qatar are again trying to get Israel and Hamas to rekindle ceasefire talks, but Israeli forces are back on the offensive today around the Gaza city of Han Yunis, urging civilians to evacuate as Israel also awaits the attack Iran vowed to avenge the assassination of Hamas's political leader in Iran. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here with urgent news. The world's central banks are making unprecedented moves, and it's time to pay attention. In 2022 and 2023, they bought more gold than ever before, and now in 2024, the trend is accelerating. Why? Because central banks have lost faith in the dollar, and in these uncertain times, gold is the ultimate safe haven. If you too are worried about the dollar, I urge you to take similar action by diversifying your IRA or 401k into gold with my trusted friends at Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. I trust Birch Gold. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax advantaged status. So text PROTECT to 989898. That's PROTECT to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Message and data rates may apply.
Look out, it's only me. It's only the Kimmer. You know, you can download the Kimmer podcast on the Extra 106.3 app, along with a ton of other great shows. Go get it, for crying out loud, now on Apple or Android.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. I saw the story, and I wanted to share it with y'all because I thought it was so cool. And I've always wanted to, as a kid. I remember as a kid just walking down the beach and hoping to find a message in a bottle. You know, I don't know why it was something that I wanted to find, but as a kid, I did.
Then a mermaid after that.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Of course, all of us.
Like Ariel.
Yeah,
How
I mean,
you doing, girl?
She's so pretty.
I don't think anybody's not wanted to find. I found a message in a bottle one time on the beach. Yeah, and I was all excited thinking it came from like some faraway land, and it happened to be like a guy down the street. And I was like, we lived close to the beach. I guess it just went out and came right back.
What a bummer.
I was like, this stinks.
What did it say? Did you open it up? Like, what was on this side?
It was all about him, you know, and like, if you find this, like, you know, hopefully you'll be able to, write me, like, looking for a pen pal. And I'm like, I like literally was like, I should have probably walked down there, knocked on the door and be like, found your bottle.
Yeah,
but then I didn't want him to be like disappointed. I want him to think it's still out there, like traveling
Did you check it back in?
No.
Yeah.
Well, I already opened it.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
You know, like.
Reason I bring it up, this lady named Smith Murphy, she found a bottle off the coast of New Jersey, and it had a business card inside. And it was from 1876. She found it over the 4th of July holiday weekend. And if this is authenticated, it would be the oldest message in a bottle ever discovered. And this is on NJ.com is where I found it, where I ran across it. And it was just, it's fascinating what, you know, this business card is from a company in Philadelphia. And you know, just whatever the company does, you know, and did. And so she tried to get it authenticated, and she's using TikTok to document everything. So they filmed it when they found it, and then they filmed it when they opened it, and then they filmed it when they're getting it authenticated. And so they're doing a whole, you know, series of documentation on this message in a bottle that she thinks and they feel like is from 1876.
That's
freaking
amazing.
The coolest. I've always been so into this. I don't know why. And I say always. As a child, I was really into it. I hadn't thought about it in years until I read this, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
I mean, you should go sit by. You know, when you go to Charleston, just sit by the water all day and look. Get yourself some binoculars.
just sit there on a chair.
Yeah.
So apparently they've been doing dredging,
black socks and sandals, and look out in the ocean.
Okay. Yeah, maybe. I mean, look, I love being lazy.
Yeah.
So I could sit there and just watch the waves roll in and hope for a message in a bottle. And if doesn't want to come, that's fine with me. But it's just the whole thing is fascinating to me, and I was reading in this that they've been dredging apparently there wherever she was, Oceanside, New Jersey. Does that sound right?
Yep.
You from up that way?
Oceanside is
okay. So they've been doing dredging, I guess, to take the sand, you know, pull the sand up and kind of enhance the beaches, just trying to make them better and nicer. But that's why they think this actually got kicked up, and why all of a sudden that it's been, you know,
that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's just super cool,
now,
man.
Do kids still do? When I was young, we would take a index card and we'd write all our information and look for pen pals by tying them to helium balloons.
Yeah,
and let them go.
We did that in school
kids still
too.
Do that?
I don't know.
Did you ever get something back?
Never one time.
We did time capsules when we were like in elementary school.
Yeah,
to be opened up
when you're senior in high school or something.
Well, no, like we were in elementary school. And the goal would be, I think they would basically have to sit in the ground for like 20 or 30 years for like the next round of elementary school kids.
Okay.
To go dig it up and look at it at that point.
That's cool, man. I like that.
It's kind of a cool thing.
They've got that same thing over at Truist Park. You know, they put one of those time capsules under the Hank Aaron statue that's down in the
that's
the
cool.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So
when the aliens come and blow up the stadium, they'll find it.
Yeah, maybe, and be like, wow, this Hank Aaron was a good ball player.
Wow, the Braves had one of the best teams and just mailed it in 2024.
This guy is really, really obsessed with NCAA college football 25.
Says he plays it 23 hours a day.
Says he's on it like every single day.
Damn.
Like the 2055 people will be like, remember when we got rid of football?
That's exactly
Who
right.
is Sketch? That's all they talk about.
Right. Why do they bring up this Sketch?
Yeah.
What's up, brother?
Hey, he's got an OnlyFans, and he's still continuing on. I don't know, man. I think it's fascinating. I even love the police song "Message in a Bottle" so much.
Wow.
Yeah, how about that? Way to tie it all together.
Boy, you should start like your own reality show and just start like going out there and looking for bottles.
I think that lady's, pardon me, already beat me to it.
Yeah.
I think what you should do, and this is just a suggestion, I'm not saying you take it seriously, but it's just a consideration. You go to Charleston, you get yourself some supplies, plenty of water, plenty of food, and you just drift.
Yeah.
And you see where you end up.
Mm-hmm.
In the ocean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a raft or something?
Yeah. But I mean, a comfortable rest. We're not talking like an emergency like life. We're talking like comfortable.
Oh, see, I was thinking he should make it himself, like chop down some of the trees at the house.
Tie them all together.
Yeah, tie them all together.
Like the ones
Just
you
see where you end up.
Take some sheets and make a sail.
Bring a volleyball just in case.
Just in case.
Somebody to talk to. Yeah, I don't know about this, y'all, because I'm not tough.
I mean, more than likely, you're going to end up in the Caribbean, and you'll be pretty happy with it.
At some point, yeah. I think it'd be a long time. Man, you'd have to have a lot of food.
Yeah.
This sounds like a terrible
You know
plan.
what we should do? We should go and hide in the woods and like put a message in a bottle and drop it in his moat. So when he comes out, it's just floating around the moat.
But I'm not buying that because it's all one circle.
yeah,
you know
that's
what I mean? I'm not buying that. Nobody's buying that.
And besides, the gators will eat it before you
Yeah,
get
that's
to it.
exactly
And
right.
the piranha.
It's the
And the
multiple.
piranha.
No, there's
you got
multiple.
more?
But we got more now.
Oh,
Yes,
good.
Multiple piranhas.
That's good.
Multiple. Morning Xtra and Extra 106.3. Little message in a bottle action for you. So, Trump, Los, he is backing Biden, and you're going to have to set this up. Taking it all away. What does that mean?
So Donald Trump ends up doing the 2 o'clock news conference yesterday.
Which was awesome.
Which it was a lot of fun. And again, talked about everything under the sun. And part of the reason why he's doing it is because he's challenging Kamala Harris to talk about anything. All right?
Knowing she can't.
Ask him a question, have him respond. Take a listen to Donald Trump. He's talking about Joe Biden, who he thought was going to be his opponent. And he spells it out. When you talk about the threat to democracy, take a listen to how Donald Trump is talking about Joe Biden.
The presidency was taken away from Joe Biden, and I'm no Biden fan, but I tell you what, from a constitutional standpoint, from any standpoint you look at, they took the presidency away. And people were saying he lost after the debate, he couldn't win. Well, I don't know that that's true necessarily, but whether he could win or he couldn't win, he had the right to run, and they took it away. They said they're going to use the 25th Amendment, they're going to hit you hard. Either we can do it the nice way. I know exactly, because I know a lot of people on the other side, believe it or not. And they said, we'll do it the nice way, or we'll do it the hard way. And he said, all right. So that, I mean, they've really taken, what they've done is pretty incredible.
Yeah. He's the only person who's talked about this. Like on a national level, he's the only person who's talked about how the presidency was taken away from somebody who, again, legally had all the cards.
Well, they can't talk about it, right? Because then they look like a threat to democracy. They couldn't go in and say, hey, we pushed this guy out. We threatened him with the 25th Amendment. This can be the easy way. You step down, or the hard way, we'll invoke the 25th. But Nancy Pelosi's quoted in the Washington Post basically saying that I didn't like his campaign. I never thought he was politically savvy. And then she turns around and said, we used to go pray together. So I don't know what in the world Nancy Pelosi, I mean, she's chasing her tail, just trying not to look like the villain that she is.
Well, I mean, Katie Couric had to actually call her out and tell her to answer the question, which she never answered when it came to hiding Biden's, issues, mentally and cognitive decline. So when she was asked, she kind of just went around it and then kept going around it. They know exactly what they did. This was a coup. That's exactly what it was. It was a coup. And it's a very socialist idea to take, again, only 4,500 people and install a candidate. And Donald Trump knows that. He was forced out. We know that. And there was a reason why. They were afraid their power was threatened because they knew he wasn't going to win. The polls showed that people did not want Joe Biden and didn't feel like Joe Biden would be able to do another 4 years. So they replaced him and they forced him out. I don't think Joe wanted to go. Joe had every right to stay in there. He's got more votes than any other candidate in that party. They didn't open up a primary. They did everything they could to get him out. They threatened him after sitting there and lying for him for as long as they did. They told him he was fine, and he believed them that he was fine.
Which is the crazy part of it all. They told him he was okay, and he was like, yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm great. I'm better than I have ever been.
I'm good.
If he falls down the stairs.
If you want to point out the tribalistic nature of what we have going on. So part of the reason why the Democrats end up dumping Joe Biden is because he was trailing in the popular vote by 4 to 5%. And they're like, there's no way this guy can campaign to make up for it. As of yesterday, when you go to the Rasmussen polling, Kamala Harris trails by 4 to 5%.
Yeah, nothing has changed.
Nothing's altered. It's still the tribalistic nature of everyone going, I know who I'm going to vote for, or you're not going to change my mind. This is a party, when it comes to Democrats, that, again, just as Rhino told you, pulled off a coup. They went ahead and got rid of their guy, and then they tried to suddenly take one of the, I'll just put it very simply, somebody that we've looked at as the dumbest person since Dan Quayle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
And they've tried to turn her into Winston Churchill with the use of social media and news media. And so far, the people that buy into it are the only ones that are like, yeah, I can't wait to vote Democrat. I'm like, everybody else going, no, it's still the same thing.
She makes Dan Quayle look good, dude.
She really does. She really does.
I mean, has any other vice president been considered this dumb since Dan Quayle?
No. And it's ironic that people sit here and say, oh, no, she's done a great job. Oh, I love her. I've always loved her. No, you didn't. If the Democrats actually loved Kamala Harris, she would have won at least one primary vote. She would have made it to Iowa.
She never made it to the first primary.
No. And you're telling me overwhelmingly, because this is a lie they tell everybody is, overwhelmingly she is the most popular. People love her, and that's why she is, gaining all this steam against Donald Trump, because so many people want her in. And again, nobody voted her in. She didn't win a primary. She hasn't won anything. She was installed. This is a coup, and this is the coup that Donald Trump was talking about yesterday, that she's a selected, not elected. And I think we need to follow with that and talk about that, because I think people really need to realize the threat that the Democrats pose to people in America for having a voice or being able to vote. Their votes didn't count.
I don't think they care.
Of course they don't.
That's what I'm saying. So talking about it, I don't know how talking about it does any good. I appreciate where you come from, but I just don't know that it
we
matters.
have to, because we know the other media is not going to. And we have to hope that people start to listen to alternate forms. I listen to the other side all the time. And then I go, wait, okay. Unfortunately, there's no policy for me to debate with them, because they're just going on fear and going on social issues that only affect less than 1% of this country.
Let's keep this in mind. In 2015, 2016, Donald Trump had to go through 14 different people in a primary. And he kept winning primaries. And he kept winning, and to become the person that ended up getting the nomination. And everyone was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe." So remember, at the time, we all thought, "Well, it's Jeb Bush's turn. Okay, this is who's gonna end up being this person. It's Jeb Bush." Fast forward, you had him go through another primary again, and by the time you went through and finishing off with Nikki Haley, okay, that's who it was. Keep in mind, when you go back to 2020. Joe Biden wasn't even finishing in the top 3 in most of the primaries. It wasn't until South Carolina, which they engineered him a victory.
Another engineering.
In Iowa, he finished 4th. Okay?
Yeah.
It's like, and by the way, and Kamala Harris didn't even get to that point. So you're talking about a party who has engineered who they want to be the representative, without taking into account the voters. On a regular basis, they're doing this.
The Democrat voters are used to this engineering. That's probably why they don't pitch a fit anymore. They've seen it. This is nothing new to them. Taking away from Bernie Sanders to give to Hillary Clinton.
Right.
They've seen this game, but I mean, this is par for the course.
Iowa in 2020 was Pete Buttigieg, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and then Joe Biden came in 4th.
But that's why that messaging of they're installing her doesn't resonate with at least Democrat voters, because it's common. It's what they do.
It is common. Look, they have the same game plan over and over and over again, and it's keep that person away from the media. Keep that person in the basement. Let them run this campaign from the basement, and they're continuing that. They did it with Joe, and they're doing it with Kamala Harris right now.
And right now it's working.
Absolutely, it's working. Because,
relatively.
Because what they have is, hey, we got Country Jam going on at the airport in the hangar here. You guys are all welcome to come out to Country Jam and see some of your favorite country artists, and then play the game that, look, they had 20,000 people show up to see Kamala Harris. No, they didn't. They had people to
Country
come.
Jam.
Yeah, they went to Country Jam. They went to go see Megan Thee Stallion. They went to see anybody but Kamala Harris, and they pretend. They give them signs. Everybody's going to hold up a sign.
Playing Country Jam.
No. I'm talking about Atlanta's Megan Stallion.
All I'm telling you,
you never know though. Nowadays, Democrats make everything something weird.
If I went,
and everybody's trying to put out.
If I went to go watch Outkast, like, hey, we're gonna play a show, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna go see Outkast. And the next, like on Monday, like I go out on like a Friday, and Monday, Rhino's like, everybody came out to see me over at, whatever, Alpharetta here. And I'd be like, No, man, I went to go see Outkast. I guess you just happened to be there. That's what she's doing.
I know.
Yeah. When I worked at Star 94, I'd be able to get up on stage and introduce people and at Six Flags, because we always did those concerts. If I were to come back and be like, yo, it was a great turnout, 17,000 people came and see me.
Wasn't I
good
great?
to see you. Wasn't I great? You know what? Let me bring up my guest here, Jennifer Page.
Yeah, that's right. Just a little crush.
By the way, as we reference back to 2020, so as I was saying in Iowa, Biden finished 4th.
Yep.
They then move on, and by Nevada, okay, he's finishing 5th. It's not until he gets to Vermont that he finishes 2nd, and Bernie Sanders actually doubled his vote count.
But
they engineered it
again.
Yeah,
but it doesn't matter, dude, because everybody's okay with it. There's nobody in the liberal press or no Democrat voter going, hey. Nobody's doing that. Nobody. It's not even a blip on the radar.
Yeah, I mean, we all forget that we have a president. I mean, we don't even realize we have a president right now. That's how bad this is.
That's the truth.
People
Nobody's heard from him.
They're like, yeah, yesterday we did.
That was it.
We did. Texas Rangers got to visit the White House. That's all we got out of it. And, give him the easy stuff to do now, because right now he's not acting president, which should be scary for everyone, because until January, we don't have anybody running this country, and that should be scary. But, yeah. Carlos is absolutely right. When it got to Vermont, the only reason it got to a point where when they got out there was that Barack Obama and everybody else called Jim Clyburn and said, hey, we got to push this. We need Biden. We need the black vote behind Biden. We need to energize that black vote. We need to use them to gain those votes again in order to win this election. So pander to those people and push them behind Joe Biden. That's exactly what they did. Why? Because they knew that black vote wasn't going for, well, now Vice President Kamala Harris. They weren't behind them. Now all of a sudden they are, right?
Exactly.
And now they're defending the fact that when she was running, as an Indian one time, now she's running as a black woman. Now they're sitting here and now questioning this as well. So we'll see how this turns out. I don't believe any of the polls or any of the hype right now, though.
Morning Extra and Extra 106.3, 7 o'clock hours brought to you by Van Sant Law. If you're in an accident, make the right call. VanSantLaw.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
All right, here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Friday, August 9th. Mom's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom. The state election board.
What's up, Mom?
Yeah, and see, everybody loves your birthday. The state election board voted 3-1 to post signs outside polling places in November that read, U.S. citizens only. Board member Janice Johnson held up a sample sign explaining that it provides an easy visual for people to understand and will help prevent non-citizens from unwittingly violating election law. The sign will be emailed to all 159 counties, encouraging election officials to hang them up outside polling locations and election offices. A Rome high school bus carrying student athletes overturned and slid into a power pole, knocking out power for 500 residents in Aragon, Georgia last night. According to the school, all students and staff were accounted for, although officials have not released any details about injuries. The cause of the crash remains under investigation. And in sports, the Atlanta Braves were outscored 34-12 in a 3-game sweep by the Milwaukee Brewers. Yesterday, the Brew Crew delivered 6 home runs, 20 hits, and a 16-7 shellacking of the Braves. The Braves have lost 5 straight games and sit in 3rd place in the division. They will head to Colorado tonight to take on the Rockies in an 8:40 start. Grant Holmes will be on the mound, aiming for his first win of the season. You can catch all the action on our sister station, 680 The Fan.
Brutal. As I've said, my son's going back to college over in Charleston, and he was like, I want to get one more Braves game in before I go. And we went yesterday.
Oh, fun.
Boy, it was not fun.
You guys are bad luck.
Yes, we
That's
are.
the way I look at it.
Yeah, we definitely are. We continue the bad luck streak for sure. Goodness. It's this team makes me drink.
Oh, is that what makes you drink?
Well, one of the many things.
Okay.
But I mean, they're just adding to the list of things. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. When the left opens its mouth, listen for communism to leak out. Next on Extra 106.3, Tug, Rhino, and Los. We're on the air until 10. Glad that you're here.
Extra 106.3 is committed to bringing you the local and national perspective you need and hearing your voice leading up to the election.
There are things that really worry me now about the upcoming election. It is inconceivable that the people of this country would ever vote for Kamala Harris for president. She is without accomplishment.
Proud to be Atlanta's conservative news and talk station. Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watch Company, where quality and value make the difference. Locally owned and located in Sandy Springs, offering you the finest selection of unique diamonds, sapphires, rubies, and emerald jewelry, as well as other fine gemstones. Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watches has been servicing Rolex watches for over 30 years, and their Rolex-trained watchmaker will service your watch in their state-of-the-art Rolex service center in their store. Lee Brandt uses only genuine Rolex parts, and their estimates are free. Drop by Lee Brandt in the Trader Joe's Shopping Center in Sandy Springs or visit LeeBrandt.com.
Are you concerned about securing your family's future and assets? Look no further than Nelson Elder Care Law. As a family-owned and family-focused firm, we offer absolute assurance and peace of mind through our comprehensive asset protection services. Visit NelsonElderCareLaw.com to explore how we can safeguard your legacy and provide tailored solutions for your family's well-being.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality, certified pros at Angie.com.
Intelligent technology that's more intuitive. Electrified power wrapped in sporty elegance. Meet the 2024 Mercedes-Benz C300 sedan. The leader of the pack with a sensual interior, the C300 sedan is a driver's delight and paradise for passengers. Experience the 2024 C300 sedan today. Lease one for just $539 per month for 36 months with $48.33 due at signing, exclusively from RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this vehicle and many other models, and visit today to see how to qualify. Special lease rate available only to qualified customers exclusively from Mercedes-Benz Financial Service through RBM of Atlanta, Sandy Springs through September 3rd, 2024. Excludes tax, tag, title, and Georgia Lemon Law fees. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this and other exciting offers. Visit rbmofatlanta.com or call us at 770-390-0700 for details.
Securing America.
The U.S. has bolstered its forces in the Middle East as the region remains in a volatile state, and Iran has threatened to retaliate against Israel for the killing of a Hamas leader in Tehran. Pentagon Deputy Press Secretary Sabrina Singh explaining the reasoning behind the decision to send more U.S. assets to the region.
To improve U.S. force protection, increase support for the defense of Israel, and to ensure the United States is prepared to respond to a various number of contingencies.
The move follows the recent rocket attack at Al-Assad Air Force Base in Iraq, in which the Pentagon now says 4 U.S. service members and 1 contractor were injured. Singh on whether the U.S. will respond.
We always reserve that right, and we will take measures that we need to ensure the protection of our forces.
Singh also says that the U.S. military posture in the Middle East remains
defensive in nature.
Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
No need for traffic updates. We always steer you right. It's the Morning Extra on 106.3.
Little Poli's talking about the message in the bottle I was talking about last hour. This lady found one off the coast of New Jersey. It's like 1876. They expect that it is the oldest message in a bottle ever found. Just look it up. It's nj.com. It's where I saw the story. Super cool. Get a chance to read it. Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. Tug, Rhino, and Los until 10. I tell you, I get lazy once in a while.
Once in a while?
Yeah, about
you
once a week.
tell me that you love the sloth.
Once in a while,
man.
once a day,
about once a week. I mean like a lazy day,
like a full day,
where I'm just like, man, I just want to sit on the couch and do nothing. I listen to Bruno Mars, the Lazy Song. You know, I'm not doing nothing.
I took an almost 2-hour nap yesterday. I was so tired.
That's
yesterday.
Awesome. I'm so envious of you right now. You could have said I won the lottery. I wouldn't have cared. 2-hour nap, I do.
I woke up and I was like, I could stay another hour and a half. 2 hours. I thought about staying in bed all day.
I'm not getting up.
Yeah.
I'm not getting up.
He's not lying. I got pretty close.
You
Because
too?
I missed nap time two times this week.
Dude,
so by the time I hit yesterday, I think it was like an hour and 45 minutes. I woke up. And the joke is always, I felt like I was being born.
Yeah.
Where am I? What the hell?
That's what I did.
Like the light hits you. Like,
I wasn't even really sure if I did a show with you guys that morning. I was like, where are we?
When you wake up and you're not sure,
You're not
when you
sure.
look at the clock, if it's 3 a.m. or 3 p.m., you have no idea.
We'll wake up from
idea
a
where
nap, see the light outside, be like, oh my God, I missed work.
Yeah. Did I sleep through work?
That's what
Dude,
blackout curtains are for.
I've done that before.
Oh, me too.
We have the.
I left my house and drove halfway here one
I
time.
remember
thinking,
that. I remember that.
I
do
got
remember
here and I was like 2.5 hours early, and I'm like, I read the clock wrong.
I did that in Dallas. I'm not
What am I
gonna
doing?
not gonna lie about it. I went to sleep after a golf tournament, and I woke up and I thought it was 6 o'clock in the morning. It was 6 o'clock the day before, and I showed up to that Delta counter looking to check in, and they looked at me like I was crazy. Yeah, I did. It happened.
Gosh, dude.
It happened.
That is the worst. I've never gotten that far.
That's some hard drinking.
That's right.
Well, that was with all my college friends. You know, like we basically did what we used to do, but we did it at like 11 o'clock in the morning. By the time it was like 3 o'clock, I was like, I gotta go sleep.
Seriously, yeah, man. It has been a long week, but I love a lazy day. There's just nothing better when you have nothing. And look, maybe it's a Saturday. It could be a Wednesday. I don't care. I'm in for either one. But when there's just nothing on the docket and you're like, I have no desire to do anything, not even get up off this couch. I don't want, like, the friends are calling saying, hey, do you want to go grab dinner? No, I don't.
No.
I think I might order a pizza and have them bring it to me.
Is that an old thing? Like, I love my friends, all of them. I do.
Yeah.
But if you call me to leave the house, I really have to think about leaving my house at this point. Like, I don't want to leave my porch. I don't want to leave the house.
No.
I don't want to put clothes on. I don't want to do any of it. Like,
clean up.
Yeah, come over here and hang out with me. I'm in my robe.
Yeah.
I love some drinks, whiskeys. I don't know.
I just know.
I have some nice bourbons.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
I'm not getting out of this robe.
Got a cigar, my robe.
That's right.
And
I say
bourbon.
most people have 60 lazy days a year where they just do, that's what they just come to the point where 60 times a year there's like, I just won't get up off the couch, much like you're describing.
Yeah.
I just have no desire to get up and get anything done. I don't want to do anything. I think it's because there's no escape from notifications. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if it's an email, it doesn't matter if it's something on your phone. There's no, unless you're napping, a consistent downtime. There's no way to escape anything. Maybe it's scores on your phone. I mean, there's just so many notifications. There's never a time where you're just not
email buzz.
engaged. Exactly. And I think that's why so many people love to just veg out once in a while, or 60 times a year.
I hope everybody gets a chance to look. You guys are such a-holes. I'm working 9 hours loading things and doing stuff, and you're talking about going home after a 4-hour radio show and taking a nap.
Okay, well, wait.
We work harder at home, by the way.
Wait.
Our listeners are like, shut up, spoiled brats.
How dare you?
But who else is getting up at the time we get up?
None.
I mean, that's another thing. I mean,
Goat Redneck Poet's the only one I know. He's up at like 2 running around.
Yeah, but that dude doesn't sleep. I swear he's a vampire that instead of sucking blood, he drinks bourbon.
No, he starts early and finishes early. That's the key.
Something, man. Holy cow.
Good for him. He's like, it's 6:30. I've been drunk for 4 hours. I'm going to bed. I'll see y'all in the morning. I'm like, good for you.
Dude, I got 4 jobs. I mean, there's just,
right?
I mean, dude, there's not a moment in my day that is not scheduled. And it goes back to that same thing with the notifications. Just once in a while, I would love to be able to just turn it all off and not even think about it again and for 24 hours. You know? And there's not one point during the week that I can do that.
We should do a test where we can, I guess after the show, see if we can go the whole day without, touching the internet. I don't know if we can do it. Well, we can't really because
it's impossible, dude. It's impossible.
You just got to stay up to date on stuff.
Do.
I mean, there's no way, given what we do, that you can do that and then still have a grasp of what's going on in the world.
I was sitting in the Braves game watching, some of the Trump press conference. I was like, all right, I got to keep up with what's going on. And so I was kind of just paying attention to that. I mean, the Braves are getting the daylights beat out of them. It doesn't really matter.
Third inning, I was like, I can't wait for the 2 o'clock press conference.
No. And so I'm sitting there, and I think I left about 2:30. I think that's when I left. And so I'd kind of kept up with what was going on. But then, and the whole time I was thinking, well, I'm here to spend time with my son who's leaving. and I'm not.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know.
You do get a guilt. You get a guilt
Yeah, you
of
do.
not getting things accomplished because we're told, like, and growing up in New York, everything was rush. So moving here, I was able to like sit back and go, hey, I don't have to be like that. I don't have to go over the top anymore. And now, even when I do take a break, and I think a lot of people do this, they go, man, I should be up, gardening. I should be up doing this. I should be up doing that. And there's such a guilt. No, just sit back and relax. Enjoy your
once
life,
in a while,
man.
Once in a while, it's so important to turn it off, to just step back away from everything and maybe just enjoy the things that you enjoy, whatever that might be. Hunting, fishing, loving every day.
Goat Redneck Bo says he gets up at 1 and gets home at 5. 1 in the morning and gets home at 5.
Hang on, he gets up at 1 and gets home at 5 p.m.
Yes.
Good God, what does he do?
Somebody go buy his book.
Seriously?
60 to 65 hours. Please go to Amazon and find 80 proof, 100 proof, and all his great books.
Let's throttle that man back to 40 hours.
Let's get him back to 40 hours,
Good
people.
Lord. Dude.
Oh my gosh.
I can relate to long. I know it doesn't seem like it because I'm only here for 4 hours. That you hear me anyway, and that is just not the case. Just doing so much more than what you would see on the surface.
Right.
Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. The left, when they open their mouth, all you have to do is listen, and you'll hear communism. That's what they do. That's what they speak. And even when Kamala Harris kind of bumbles it up and jumbles it up, that's actually what she's trying to say there, too. She's trying to push that Marxist message.
That's the unburdened by what has been.
Yeah,
that's
exactly
a
right.
Marxist. We laugh because it is ridiculous and it is talking in a circle. But at the same time, it is a message about the Marxist ideology.
That's right. It just doesn't. It may not resonate with you. It may not. But listen, when they talk, listen.
It has to be about a goal of saying everybody should end up in the same place. And since we didn't start in the same place, some folks might need more. Equitable distribution. Giving resources based on equity, understanding that we fight for equality, but we also need to fight for equity, understanding not everyone starts out at the same place. So there's a big difference between equality and equity. Equality suggests often everybody should get the same thing. Well, that often assumes everybody started out in the same place, as opposed to equity, which is everyone should end up in the same place.
And we could go on and on with this. I mean, she just repeats the same, kind of like her speeches lately. They've been word for word the same thing. But every time you hear her speak, if you know where she's coming from, if you realize that she's speaking about Marxism and of Marxism, then all of a sudden it starts to add up and it makes sense what she's saying to you.
I thought about this the other day, and being Jewish in this country right now, people are afraid to be Jewish. Obviously, Donald Trump yesterday with his comment about, hey, you should examine what you're doing. But I thought about what they're doing now, and Kamala Harris has been saying, and the way that they've treated Jews, and I realized, what they're afraid of? They're afraid of oppressed people, whether they're black or Jewish, getting the idea that, hey, I have to work hard to make sure this never happens to us again.
Yeah.
That's their fear. So the thought is, well, if the government makes it equitable by giving you what other people have earned, you'll stick with us. If we give you a 500 square foot apartment and tell you this is affordable care and affordable housing, you'll be fine.
See, but
the only time that you get upset is when you're standing in a food line waiting for bread. That's the only time you're going to get upset. Right now, you're falling for all the tricks because they're like, hey, here's $1,200. We're going to take care of you. But yet you've been living in these same communities. You've went through 8 years of a black president, and you're in these communities, and you're still being oppressed by the people you're voting for. They're not going into your community, giving you the police and making sure that you're safe. They're not going into your community and saying, hey, we're going to get better teachers in here. We're going to do better in school. No, they're playing the game and dividing you against others to make you feel like you've been marginalized.
I believe we crossed the Rubicon in 2020, and that was the end of America version 1. And so now we're into America version 2.
I think that's a great example. Because I think that illustrates it so well. Like the old America and the new America. And believe me, the Democrats hate the old America.
So this version, we're going to get to determine what it's going to be. Will it be dominated by the globalists, or will it be dominated by at least the idea of some form of nationalism? If this country votes for Kamala Harris in a way that puts her in office, I'm not going to be surprised by the fact that a lot of y'all are going to get a lot poorer, and a lot of other people are going to get a lot more rich. Now, I'll be on the better side of that, because I've figured all this game out already. But if you just think that this inflationary environment is like, oh, it's as bad as it's going to get.
No, it's not.
No, it will not. This is how this game is going to be played, because what do communists need to create? They need to create a society where everybody's the plebes, and here's the top of the party, and they're the ones in charge.
I mean,
that's the goal.
It's the same every one of these countries. Venezuela, it doesn't matter if it's Cuba, Venezuela, it could be the CCP and the Chinese. Every one of those societies look identical. There's a reason for that.
Communism is a relatively newer function. I mean, when you look at when Karl Marx was writing about it, this is not something that goes back to, like when we talk about like the Magna Carta, you're like, whoa, okay, man, we're going back like 400 years. Oh my God, the idea that men have rights. Communism is basically a 100-year concept. And in 100 years, they've killed 100 million people.
And it fails every time to work.
And every single time, it kills millions and puts everybody who opposes it in prison.
Have you ever thought about this? And if you haven't, you should. Why is there more slavery in the world now than there ever has been before? The CCP has slaves, people that are in bondage, putting together clothing and putting together solar panels and putting together all kinds of things that the entire world buys at a really, really cheap price. Why? Because there's slavery. And in communism, that's an availability. I mean, it is completely fine. And the thing that drives me the most crazy is how the people that claim to be in favor of human rights never bring up the slaves in China or in Africa, the ones that are actually in bondage as we speak. That never gets brought up.
No,
ever.
Why would it? We don't want to take focus off this fake oppression that we have here in this country, because if you actually see real oppression, if you actually go and fight the real fight, then all of a sudden people are like, "Wow, we got it really good here. What are we doing? Why are we sitting and allowing them to divide us?"
And the evidence is there, but people are dying to get here.
Yeah.
By the millions are trying to get here.
Yes.
It's so bad and so oppressive, they can't wait to get here.
And now the ones that are actually dealing with that, when they do try to get here, now they're treated differently, because you know what? We have people who don't need to be here, who are criminals, who are illegals, who are coming across the border. And we can't get people here who actually can benefit, number one, from having a free society like America, but also can contribute to this society.
By the way, just as a point of reference, so the Magna Carta was written in 1215, all right? 1215, where you establish, here's the king, here's the government, here's how this is going to run, here are the rights that are established within those. Karl Marx's Communist Manifesto is 1840, okay? You're talking about a 600-year head start, and yet the communists killed 100 million people in the span of their time.
And have slaves right now. Right now.
Oh, man, they're amazing.
How people fall for this, how people can embrace this. And dude, there's people, very few. I have this one friend that I worked with for years in Dalton, Georgia. Sweetest woman, I think so intelligent, until I see her talking about her politics. And then I'm like, how can you miss the ball so much? How do you miss it?
Is it Peeps?
It is not. No, that's Aunt. That's my.
Yeah,
we call it
Peeps.
Peeps. This is my sister-in-law.
Okay.
No, it's not Peeps. No.
We hadn't gone on a show without bringing up Peeps.
Well, no.
By the way, I want to congratulate
Peeps is
Hampton
smart.
Morris's grandmother,
doubt.
who called the station a little bit earlier.
Hampton,
to
let's
brag.
go!
Medalist.
Yeah, 20-year-old who from Marietta, Georgia, first time in 40 years a weightlifting gold medal, bronze medal goes to, or any medal goes to an Olympic athlete.
Way to go,
from
Hampton.
the USA. So congratulations, Hampton.
Proud of you, brother.
Man.
And proud for your family.
Yes, absolutely.
Go!
There you go.
America!
You know what he did? He America'd that S up. He was like, I'm throwing this weight up. America that up. That's right, Hampton. Thank you to you and your grandma. Thank you for listening.
He didn't even have to put on a wig and go into the women's division.
No, he actually did it. He actually did it. So proud.
Good job,
of him.
Hampton.
God bless America, because that's all we got, y'all. That's all we got. And if we lose it, what?
You already did.
But
you got to take it back now.
You got to take right. Yes, that's right. 100%. Are you willing to work and fight for it back? or are you going to just end up in just this cesspool?
Listen to that racist dog whistle. He's going to take his country back.
Yeah, I know, right?
Shut up.
I will take my country back. Absolutely. I will work hard to take my country, as will everybody in this room.
Yep.
When we continue, Trump wants to sit down with a group called Earn Your Leisure, which focuses on black-owned businesses, and their response might shock you. Next on Extra 106.3.
The left-wing media is pushing counterfeit polls and bogus headlines, all while ignoring the stories that matter most. Trust the conservative voice of Atlanta for the real truth without the media spin. The Morning Extra, Glenn Beck, Clay Travis, Buck Sexton, The Kimmer Show, Jesse Kelly, and the voices you need most are all on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
It's going to be an interesting couple of months right here on Extra 106.3.
My name is Amy Risley. I have been working for Bruce Hagen for 17 years. When I first started, my boys were 4 and 6, and whenever I needed, Bruce allowed me to bring them to our office. Bruce has always treated us like family, and 17 years later, I still love coming to work for Bruce Hagen. The best part of my job is when I get to put a settlement check in the hands of someone Bruce won a case for and see it change their life. I'm Amy Risley, and I work for Bruce Hagen. Let Bruce Hagen work for you. Hagen-law.com.
One of the hardest things to do is to walk away from a paycheck. As retirement planners, Masterplan knows how hard it can be to pull the trigger on your own retirement. Don't go it alone. Masterplan is a holistic retirement planning firm that works with you to create a retirement plan to help maximize your golden years. Through income planning and money management, legacy planning, and tax planning, we create a plan specifically designed for your life. Enter retirement with confidence. Contact Masterplan to analyze your retirement outlook and create a plan that's right for you. All initial consultations are complimentary, so contact us today and begin your pursuit towards peace of mind. Visit masterplanretire.com. Masterplan Retirement Consultants. Plan well and prosper.
Advisory services offered through Masterplan Retirement Consultants, Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates, Inc., DBA Masterplan Retirement Consulting. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
Marketing is everywhere. From the billboards on the highways to the notifications on your phone, we are constantly bombarded with people trying to sell us stuff. What makes good marketing? Are you doing enough in your life personally and professionally to market yourself? You have questions, and the Marketing Madmen have answers. Tune in every Saturday, now at 4 p.m., right here on Extra 106.3 to get practical marketing advice from expert guests who are shaping and reshaping the business world. They say marketing is a madman's game. Join the Marketing Madmen every Saturday at 4 p.m. to find out why.
The Morning Extra, Neil Bortz, and The Kimmer Show are all online for you anytime at thepodcastpark.com. Plus all of Extra's exclusive podcasts like Ben Burnett, Janelle King, and so much more. All at thepodcastpark.com. Presented by Associated Credit Union.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. Yesterday, we played a little bit of The Breakfast Club in the fact that Charlamagne the God was going on and saying whoever is reaching out from Kamala's campaign to these streamers needs to be fired. There has to be a little bit of organic enthusiasm. There has to be some sort of organic relationship there to have someone on. And each one of these streamers are saying, no, heck no, want no part of this. And then, obviously Trump went on a streamer show and everything was interesting. And because it was organic, the streamer actually had interest.
But he's not campaigning.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Which is why it was a stupid question, by the way, for CNN to ask.
Right, exactly.
He almost did 600,000 people in the span of like 20-some minutes.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Wow. But the Breakfast Club, they have this conversation on their show, or had this conversation about the Earn Your Leisure group. And they were welcoming to Donald Trump.
Yeah, they reached out, and once you had Donald Trump go in front of the National Association of Black Journalists, and obviously that was an interesting thing, you had this company and this group that are largely African-American entrepreneurs, and we want you in front of us to talk about your message, talk about what you've done. And
again, organic, dude.
Organic. They're like, we want
just
you
wanna know.
here so that we can get your expertise. I want you to take a listen. This is 90 seconds, and this is pretty interesting talk. Now, you'll hear Charlemagne the God, who's going to go ahead and start things off, and you'll hear a couple of other different voices that are going to kind of pop off. But I want you to pay attention to this. This is the level of intelligent conversation that is going on within the community that for some reason you have a large amount of people, especially when it comes to the Democrat Party, that will not give them credit and say, well, if we have someone twerking, that's going to work. It's like, no, you should be talking to African-American business owners about their future and the economic conditions by which they can get success. Take a listen to this.
I want to get your opinion. You saw Trump was at the National Black Journalist.
Yeah, National Association of Black Journalists.
You think it would be a good idea if we have Trump at InvestFest, or don't do that?
Why not? I mean, here's my thing, and I said this about the National Association of Black Journalists. They're journalists. Their job is to be objective and biased. All they're there to do is bring the person in front of the audience and ask the question.
Let them decide.
Like, why do we as black people, because this is a black thing, right? Why do we as black people beat each other up about this kind of stuff, about platforming people? This guy can be on CNN, MSNBC, Fox, ABC, doing the same thing, and nobody says, why y'all platforming them? As soon as Earn Your Leisure does it, or Breakfast Club does it, you platforming it. Why? I don't understand that logic. I really don't.
I take it a step further. Like, I mean, this is a business festival, right? Love Trump, hate Trump, however you feel about him. He came from Queens, and he damn near, they say he built New York City when a time when everybody was running away. So to get in his mind, to see what his mind frame was, how he did it, what was his mind process, how he got the money, and how he did all that, I don't see why not. I don't see why that would be a problem.
I mean, you're talking about the future of the economy, right? Yes. So, like, when we're talking about investing and when we're doing market Mondays, it's important that if he's going to put tariffs on China, they need to know, like, what does that mean, right? Like, when he talks about Taiwan, what does that mean? What does foreign policy mean? Especially for American companies when we're talking about investing. Like, you would want to hear those answers if this is going to be the guy who's going to lead the nation over the next 4 years. So, I mean, you got to look at it from have context on it, but have perspective as well.
Dude, I love that.
Yeah.
So just great discussion about why
he should be
matters.
there.
Absolutely.
And the problem you run into is largely white liberal America are the ones that are bitching about that. Like, why would you platform? And again, you got Charlemagne going like, listen, you can put him on CNN,
and he's
you can put him on CBS, right? And he's sitting there. It's like, but as soon as we host him anywhere, y'all immediately go crazy. And he tried to make it sound like the community. It's not. It's white liberals.
It is white liberals, and they're destroying that. Now, Trump did the same thing, and he's been doing this for quite some time. They don't report on it, but even before Atlanta, he, Byron Donalds, Wesley Hunt, and Ben Carson sat down in a black barber shop with business owners from the Atlanta community to talk to them and tell them, hey, I want to tell you what I think and what I did while I was president, and I want to hear from you what you need more. That's where, when he talks about the no tax on tips, he did that because, there are a lot of black workers in the hospitality business that understand, and young that need to, be able to keep the money that they earn. But they also talked about a lot of other important things, talking about Biden inflation and how it affect black households even more. He's not afraid to say, hey, because you know what? They're going to label you a racist when you say black jobs unless they say it, or black entrepreneur unless they say it. But they will listen.
Meaning liberals
will do that because they don't want to hear that. But he talks about, opportunity zones that he created with these groups. And I think that's really important. He also talks about the small business and why there's crime in these Democrat-run cities and their businesses are being affected. Their businesses are being burned. Their businesses are being robbed or not protected with police force.
Well, let's talk about that because I don't know that this is top of mind with people. Part of the Trump tax code was creating opportunity zones. And what these were zones were areas where largely, if, for instance, you were looking at South Atlanta and said, if you open up a business in this zone and you employ people locally, here are the tax breaks that come along with it. Now,
love those ideas, man.
That created this atmosphere where people suddenly were like, hey, I'm going to invest in places I typically don't. So while that money used to go to Alpharetta, suddenly, hey, it went into the heart of Atlanta. Right. It was like, and these were the opportunity zones that were created all across the country. And for some reason, you have, and I know why, because it doesn't help their narrative, but you do have a large percentage of the other side that wants to ignore that these were the investments that were done there and also with HBCUs.
Well, I mean, I think it's important because, and going back to what you said, those opportunity zones are a threat to the communists because they want to create government jobs and not allow you to actually have these tax credits that will build your business. And it doesn't matter if you're black, white, Asian, Hispanic, whatever you are, gay, straight, whoever you are, when you own a business, you want to be able to earn and be able to get tax breaks. You'll do whatever you can to help make money for you and your employees. An opportunity zone where the government doesn't control the business but comes in and says, hey, you'll get a tax credit for the businesses that you start earning on your own. That's just offering people the ability to have a meritocracy and have merit in what they do.
Strip away all of the nonsense about what color you are, how you look, who you are.
Yeah.
I want to vote for the person that's going to give the most opportunity to the most Americans. That's what I want. It's as simple as that for me.
Imagine this, and I'm just kind of looking at some of the notes when it came to opportunity zones. You were able to take your capital gains, and the taxation of it was always deferred or was lessened.
Love it.
So if you invested in a particular area of the country, or in this case, in the city of Atlanta, and you had a business that was doing well, you kept more of the money.
Right, but then it gets painted in the media as gentrification.
Sure.
How silly was it that and this is the important part about it. So many of those businesses that were created were black owned, black operated.
Yep.
And so when we had the Summer of Love in 2020 and everyone's like, why are you coming in here messing up our stuff? Why are you burning up our stuff when in the name of George Floyd? That's the craziness about all of this, is that when you hear the Breakfast Club talking about, yeah, we want this guy in front of us because he might give us that little extra tip, that little extra information to be even more successful as a community. There is nothing wrong with that, but it's been vilified that if you have Trump come and speak to you, somehow it's, oh my God, it's Hitler incarnate.
But if you know that, I would love to see the Trump campaign continue to do this. In every city he goes in, he should have these. But you know what? The media is not going to cover it. So stop talking about it. I'm good.
Yeah,
I don't want them covering it.
Absolutely right. Because it reaches real people.
Yes, it reaches real people, and that's who you need, the voters. Don't let them cover it. Let this be a surprise how many people realize what he's done. I think you're right. What he did for historically black communities and colleges, what he's done for the communities itself. Let him do it quietly, and don't talk about it on a national media anymore. Don't use the word black jobs. Don't get invited to these traps. Just do it on your own.
Do what is going to be best for the American people. That's all I want to see. That's who I want to vote for. And I think Donald Trump is the person that will do that. When we come back, the stolen valor story is just ramping up, and the Harris-Walz campaign just threw gas on the fire. After a Neil Bortz report and a Fox News update, more of the Morning Extra. We're on the air until 10.
Time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Xtra 106.3.
It is time, my friends, to start thinking about what it's going to be like for you and your family to live in America with Kamala Harris in the White House. Trump's campaign is a disaster. Name-calling, that's it. Name-calling. While Kamala Harris is telling you exactly what she's going to do when she becomes president. Most Americans aren't listening. Most Americans aren't capable of listening and comprehending. Most Americans have been educated by the government. So what would you expect? She was speaking at a union hall, United Auto Workers, in Michigan, along with Tim Walz, who I have to say is a fantastic campaigner. A loony leftist, but a fantastic campaigner. And Kamala Harris said, we want dignity for all people. We want to recognize the pride that all people have to freedom and liberty to make choices, especially those that are about heart and home, and not have the government telling them what to do. Okay, first of all, I don't know what the phrase pride to freedom means. We'll leave that to her. Word salad. But in her next breath, she was talking about collective bargaining. We believe in the collective. The collective is defined as a group of people acting together. So, about Kamala's dedication to freedom. Give her a Democrat Congress, and you will not have the freedom to work without joining a union, without paying union dues. That's the collective. Make her the president, you will not have the freedom of school choice. You will, by God, send your kid to the school that they want you to send them to. Teachers' unions will be more powerful than ever. A lot to look forward to, people. The collective. Forget individualism. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Get ready for unfiltered conversations on The Janelle King Show, where we tackle the topics that you won't hear at your family gatherings, but they're absolutely crucial for a strong republic. Don't miss us live every Saturday at 3 p.m. and every Sunday at 9 a.m. right here on Extra 106.3. But if you can't tune in, that's okay. You can catch new episodes every Tuesday on the Podcast Park or wherever you prefer to get your podcasts. Join us for these discussions, and I can't wait to meet you there.
Military Matters.
The FDA is weighing whether to approve MDMA, or ecstasy, for the treatment of post-traumatic stress disorder, a decision that could impact U.S. military veterans who say the psychedelic drug, which gained popularity at rave dances in the 1990s, relieved their symptoms of PTSD. Psychiatrists like Dr. Manish Agrawal have been reporting dramatic results.
I think MDMA allows people to access parts of their trauma that are deeply seated, that they've not been able to access with traditional therapy.
Military veterans like Jonathan Lubecki, who suffered from PTSD until he entered the MDMA trial, worry without FDA approval, the VA won't be able to approve this life-saving treatment for veterans.
Keep hope, because the FDA will approve this. The only question for the FDA is how many veterans and how many Americans will lose their lives between now and then.
The FDA will deliver a final decision on August 11th. Jennifer Griffin, Fox News.
WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
She'll rally in Arizona. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Vice President Harris with running mate Tim Walz by her side today as the campaign puts out a new ad.
Donald Trump has no plan to help the middle class. Just more tax cuts for billionaires. Being president is about who you fight for. And she's fighting for people like you.
There will be a Trump-Harris debate agreed to September 10th on ABC.
I'm looking forward to it and hope he shows up.
As for criticism, she isn't talking to the media. The vice president says she wants to schedule an interview before the end of the month.
She can't do an interview. She's barely competent, and she can't do an interview. But I look forward to the debates because I think we have to set the record straight.
Former President Trump at a long news conference at his Florida resort says he wants 2 more debates with his Democratic rival.
I haven't recalibrated strategy at all. It's the same policies, open borders, weak on crime. I think she's worse than Biden.
There will be a Trump rally today in Montana. There's been a third arrest in Austria linked to the terror plot that canceled 3 Taylor Swift Vienna concerts. This suspect is 18 and had pledged allegiance to ISIS. Israel's taken out more Hamas targets in Gaza and Hezbollah militants in Lebanon as Israel still awaits the attack Iran vowed.
Today, Iran is claiming that it has in its Navy's arsenal these new cruise missiles that are equipped with highly explosive warheads that are undetectable. All of this comes as the U.S. says it is prepared for any possible scenario or attack from Iran or the Iranian proxies. And U.S. Air Force F-22 fighter jets have now arrived in the region.
Fox's Alex Hogan in Tel Aviv. The remnants of Tropical Storm Debbie are over Virginia and Maryland, quickly moving north toward Pennsylvania, New York, New England, and could cause more flooding like Debbie did. Florida, the Carolinas.
We're talking another 3 to 5 inches. There's probably going to be isolated areas where there's going to be at least a half a foot of rain still coming down.
Fox meteorologist Adam Klotz. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here with urgent news. The world's central banks are making unprecedented moves, and it's time to pay attention. In 2022 and 2023, they bought more gold than ever before. And now in 2024, the trend is accelerating. Why? Because central banks have lost faith in the dollar, And in these uncertain times, gold is the ultimate safe haven. If you too are worried about the dollar, I urge you to take similar action by diversifying your IRA or 401k into gold with my trusted friends at Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. I trust Birch Gold. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax advantaged status. So text PROTECT to 989898. That's PROTECT to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, it's Clay Travis. Buck Sexton and I are coming your way at noon, but right now we're getting your morning started right with Tug, Rhino, and Carlos Medina on the Morning Extra.
I was reading last night that the folks who are fans of rap and hip-hop are upset with Post Malone because he's putting out this country album that has got so many country artists that are guests on it or collaborators on it. And this is the song of the summer, biggest hit of the summer. Post Malone, Morgan Wallen. I had some help.
May I ask you a question that you can dive into?
Yeah.
Is this just an experiment in that many different artists are doing kind of that crossover record to see if they can?
Yes.
Because it's
to a degree.
It's cool.
To a degree.
Yeah, I mean, I like it.
Me too. I love, dude, the funny thing about Post Malone, I knew of him years ago, and I knew a handful of songs. Congratulations, White Iverson. I knew
He's
of
got
a handful.
an amazing voice.
He does, absolutely does. And so I was kind of late to the party, but Jacob had introduced me to him through his like 8th grade, 9th, 10th, 11th, whatever, through high school.
This is the Spider-Verse song.
Is it? Is this in the movie or something?
Yeah.
Oh,
Sunflower.
wow.
Because that's what got Liam. Sunflower.
Oh, okay.
Sunflower's a great song.
No idea.
Oh, it's a great song.
Okay.
It is a really good song. And that's what
Beers, Bongs, and Bentleys, that whole album, that was like my high school summed up in one album.
So to your point, Los, many artists, country's having this like 30, 40, maybe even 50-year renaissance right now. Like I always goof, I was country when country wasn't cool. Now you got people like freaking Machine Gun Kelly, who said he wants to put out a country record, and he did a cover recently of the Dixie Chicks' "There's Your Trouble," which is a terrific song, and it sucked. His version sucked.
He's awful.
He's awful. It's god awful. It's the worst, dude. And then, I mean, you have Jelly Roll, who was in hip hop, but he was raised outside of Nashville and Antioch, Tennessee. Thank you. Good Lord. Brain fire. I just went Joe Biden on y'all.
I was just guessing. I was like, I bet it's Tennessee.
It has to be right outside of Nashville. Yes, I went all Joe Biden on you. But so there's been a lot of people collaborating with him. Like everybody wants to work with Jelly Roll because his success is unprecedented in the format, especially for somebody that's never been in the format. Post Malone comes along, and I got to tell you, man, I was skeptical at first. I was just like, I just don't know about this. And then you start hearing him talk about country and how much he loves it. He said it's been my favorite format of my entire life.
I've never looked at him as having a particular format. Like, I've always just looked at him as like, dude, you get Post Malone singing on whatever it is, it's going to sound good.
You know when he convinced me of that? During COVID, when he did the Nirvana thing. So he did.
It doesn't matter what he does.
He was home, and it was him and like the drummer from Blink-182. Was it Travis Barker, I think? And they were playing just Nirvana covers. And I was like, oh my gosh.
And he's just singing.
I was like, he's
just doing his thing.
Really good.
I'm telling you, that guy, and I don't own again, it's not like anyone owns albums anyway at this point.
Yeah.
But if you tell me like, hey, it's Post Malone show, or hey, do you want to go listen to this? I'm like, yeah, I'll give it a spin because I just respect the dude as an artist.
He's so incredibly
really
talented.
good.
One of the things from the beginning that he wanted to set out, he didn't want to be a rapper because he was like, then I get pigeonholed into just being a rapper and especially just being a white rapper.
Yeah.
So he wanted to be able to go on and create new and different stuff, which he's obviously doing and has the success to back it up.
And that's the deal. It's like, yes, there's the rap-oriented portion of it. But then you saw, okay, now here's the R&B. Now here's like the old school R&B. Like he's got like this old soul sound to him that is so cool.
And he's only like 29, right? I think he's like 29 years old.
He's not an old dude.
Yeah, he's got a really old soul. So to see him be successful in country has like some people like there are those who are like, that's not country. Okay, fair enough. But was Alabama country when they were performing with Lionel Richie, Deep River Woman? Was that country to you? When Earl Thomas Conley was singing with pop melodies behind him, was that country? Because every one of them would argue the answer is yes.
I'm just saying that yes, while I will always enjoy some old school Conway Twitty, if you found a way to make it Conway Twitty and Rhino, I'm going to go, all right, let's reinvent this thing. Exactly let's America this ass up.
That's right. It's been good, man. I think I'm really impressed with him. I can't wait to see him in concert because I've never seen him in concert, but I plan to either try to get to see him here or in Charleston when we're over there on a trip. So just fun to see him blow up, and especially with Morgan Wallen, and that's just a... That is a recipe.
That's
right. That's a
right.
recipe for success is what that is. Good Lord. And like I said, that is the song of the summer, without a doubt. And I had some help.
Oh, I didn't know you didn't know Sunflower. Now I'm like, Rhino and I have something to expose you to.
That is from a
Into the Spider-Verse. Yeah, it's
from
off
the soundtrack.
It's off the soundtrack, but that was like the soundtrack's cool, but that was like the song on that soundtrack.
Okay.
It was one of the songs of the summer from about 5-6 years ago.
Okay, all right. I've got a mission. This is one that I won't write down. I'll actually write it on my hand.
I'm just going to play it on my phone for you, and then I'm going to tell you, here, look it up. Like, the way you gave me that country song last week, I'm like, okay, I'll listen to it. I thought it was really good.
Which one was it? I don't even remember.
That was the one about how your time's passing. You get married, you get kids.
Jordan Davis.
Yeah. I was like, that was a great...
Next thing you know.
Next thing you know, I was like, it's a great song.
And I went and listened to the Pearl Jam song that you gave me.
Thank you.
Something Special.
Something Special, yeah. I was like,
so
some great songs every now and then you pass along.
Yeah, absolutely. I love passing off music to people. I love talking about music with people, and it makes it fun when it even comes into the world of politics just for a few minutes. Morning Extra at Extra 106.3, 8 o'clock hours, brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier expert, 770-GET-HEAT.com. This stolen valor story, it just gets more interesting by the day to me, because yesterday I think I burned up the like button on my phone, and it was veterans posting their pictures in Iraq saying, this is me, and this is where Tim Walz was not. And that message was resonating everywhere. And then you have the Biden administration, the Kamala Harris campaign just quietly going to their website and scrubbing the fact that Tim Walz did not retire as a command master sergeant. He did not. He only served as one for some time. They're trying to set the record straight, and I got to tell you, all that does is throw fuel on the fire.
So here's my question for you and Rhino. The fact that you made a selection, because when you typically go get somebody from Minnesota, Ohio, Michigan, it's like you're trying to win the heartland. You're trying to get those people to say, hey, you got one of ours. He's going to be our representative in D.C. All right, what happens when this dude's a liar when it comes to military service in the heartland? Remember, the South, Texas, the Midwest, heartland, that is where your soldiers come from that fight your wars and win your wars. And you have a guy portraying himself as having carried a weapon in combat. I don't think this story goes away anytime soon here, Rhino.
No, I definitely don't, especially when you find out that they didn't really vet him correctly or even look into this, and now they're kind of panicking about it. I respect the fact that he served as long as he did in the military. I have no problem with that. I will continue to say, hey, that's great. Thank you so much for your service. But when you start to change your story or lie or make other veterans feel a certain way, and I see a lot of veterans, and I'd be surprised, I see a lot of veterans that support him and don't care, but I see a lot more that do care about what he said.
It's like 90-1.
Especially when you're in charge of 400 to 600 people and you feel like they were left out there without command, and that's important. The fact that he uses in more and more video of him saying that he was involved in war or was shot at, and that's why he needs to take guns away from Americans, it's going to backfire on them.
And this is where I think the world has changed and life has changed. For instance, when I was growing up, especially when it came to the Catholic Church, my mom was a single parent, dad was a single parent. Somehow I was like, what did you do wrong? All right, well, that's changed, okay? The world does no longer look at single parents as somehow some sort of strange thing. When you look at adulterers, totally different scenario, but I don't think we look at it and go, oh my God, I can't believe he's been married 3 or 4 times, or he's done this. It just doesn't resonate. But something resonates about lying about military service. That still holds true this day.
Because it's gross.
Yeah, there's. I mean, as much as our social mores have changed, for the better or for worse. That's one of them that hasn't. And I think that they're going to have to decide, all right, are we going to try and roll with this guy for the next 3 months, knowing he's carrying the sort of baggage that 40 years ago was just as bad as it is today?
The reason this story is not going away, on top of the military backlash, the pushback that you're seeing online and in the media, is because of stories like Kathy Miller's. Her son wasn't even 21 years old. His name was Sergeant Kyle Miller. He was part of Tim Wall's 1st Battalion, 125th Artillery Unit that died in Iraq in 2006. That is why this story isn't going away. The coward's way out. That's the way Kathy Miller, mother of Sergeant Kyle Miller, who died in Iraq when Tim Walz decided to leave. And all of a sudden, when they were actually going to deploy to a war zone that he said he walked around in with a weapon of war, knowing that that wasn't the truth, he took the coward's way out. That's why this story isn't going away, because that mama ain't going to let this story go away.
No, and again, there are certain things in politics that we can always alibi for. We can always get away with. And the fact that we have now kind of moved beyond the idea that you had to have military service. Remember, for years, it was all of our presidents had military service at some point. Whether they rode a desk or they were, flying planes, regardless, as long as you had some sort of military service, then you understood what it was. And we've moved beyond that. By the time we got to Barack Obama and Donald Trump, it's just how it is. But when you do have military service and you do have the issue of having deserted your men, essentially, deciding I'm going to run for office, I'm going to do something different before being deployed.
To an actual war zone, not to Italy.
That's just gross. It's just gross, Rhino.
It really is gross.
It's hard to downplay that.
It is going to be really hard to downplay it. But at the same time, I don't know if that's something that we need to continue to focus on, except for show that this is the unpatriotic party. There are other ways. I would rather them focus on a lot of the other issues. But again, if you are going to bring it up,
is not going to allow that to happen.
Yeah. And
my wallet sucks, and we all know that. But there's that little extra of like, hey, your wallet sucks. And oh, by the way, this guy did this.
Yes, but I would bring it back to the 13 soldiers that were killed. I would bring it back to the heroes that did serve.
Which is what this mama, Kathy Miller, is doing.
And we keep doing that because that's where you need to stay with this narrative that this guy is not, he doesn't care about America. This guy, left his troops, left American soldiers the way that Biden left our American soldiers, the way that Biden and Harris did these things. And I would continue to bring those two together.
But he associates himself with,
he got his military ball cap on.
Yeah.
Look how I served my country. And like Rhino said, God bless you for doing it. But just like Kathy said, Kathy Miller, the son or the mother of the soldier that died. My son stepped up to the plate. All of our sons stepped up to the plate. Tim Walz did not.
Where were you? Were you?
And I hear crickets.
And
I hear crickets.
I looked at some of these soldiers who had posted pictures of Tim Walz, and he's got a hat on with a Special Forces insignia on it. Now, there's a part of me that goes, well, good for him. He's just supporting other people within the Army. That's what he's doing. But because you did what you did, you can't wear anything like that.
Yeah,
and pretend to back them in any way. It just feels gross because of the way you decided to end your military career.
Now, I would allow only J.D. Vance to continue down this. Let him be that pit bull and bulldog. Because what the left's going to do is go, well, Donald Trump, he faked a bone spur to get out of going to Vietnam. He forgot he never served this country. He didn't do anything.
But the Democrats used to celebrate getting out of going to Vietnam.
Doesn't matter now.
That was their calling card.
Right.
How it was an unjust war, and they did.
But there is a significant difference in I did not go versus I pretended I went.
Right. And that's huge. At least Donald Trump never said he did go. He didn't steal valor and say, I was going to go, blah, blah, blah. No, you let J.D. Vance continue down this path and let them attack J.D. Vance for going to Iraq the way they're doing. Let him continue to be the pit bull the way he is. They're so afraid of J.D. Vance. They have to make up stories. They have to make up lies. They have to call him creepy, stalker, weird, those kind of things. But you know what? He went when he was called. Doesn't matter if he was a correspondent. Doesn't matter what he was doing. We know how dangerous that situation he was in. Regardless, let him continue down this path and call the other vice president stolen valor. Let him call it out. Let him do it.
I have no issue with them talking about this at all. I hope they continue to talk about it because it shows you what kind of person you're potentially going to elect.
You know what's interesting, too? And I just had to kind of take a look at it because there have been 31 U.S. presidents that have served in the military. But you don't have Marine, okay? Like, that's different. We look at Marines as...
Absolutely. They're the best of the best, man.
You're heading in and you're a head buster. And there's not a whole lot. The worst jobs, if you just know about World War II, that were given to any military service people when it came to Americans were the Marines over in the Pacific. Mm-hmm. Like, they by far, every tough job went to the Marines, and they carry that honor with them. So to have J.D. Vance as a guy who's a Marine, it's like, good luck going after that. And I don't care when they talk about, well, he only did this while he was there. Dude was a Marine and he deployed. That's enough.
That's it.
And honorably served. He didn't leave when they needed him the most. And that's exactly what Tim Walz did. Just be aware. Yep. Just know who you're voting for. Just know the character of that person. I'm a good old boy wearing a ball cap. I was a school teacher. I was in the National Guard. I did it all. Yeah, but none of your values align with anything that you say you are. I wear a ball cap.
Agree.
I served in the military. None of your values reflect Midwest values, and none of your values reflect my values. So there's not a chance. Based on this alone, take all the other BS, Kamala, being installed, take all of that out. Doesn't matter. Just because this man is on the ticket means I could never, with good conscience, vote for him. Ever.
Vote for someone who lied about something like that.
Ever. Because I see Joey Jones, our friend, on Fox News Channel this morning, a Marine that actually went and served and lost his legs and has done incredible, extraordinary things with his life. But he did the job. Tim Walz did not.
You went to Somalia. He went to Italy.
Yeah.
It's like when you start going, where have I been that's been kind of dangerous? The man went to Italy.
And Italy was base security. That's what he was doing, base security.
Which is needed.
Which is needed. Of course it's needed.
It's fun. It's your service.
But don't compare it.
But yeah, don't act like you did more than you did.
Right.
I'm walking around with weapons of war.
In a war zone.
So
I went in these places.
Didn't?
Yeah, you don't. And, hold on. He did walk around with it. He didn't fire it. He didn't use it.
He wasn't in a war zone.
But it wasn't a war.
But he tried to make it, but that was his issue. It wasn't a war.
And that's a big, big issue. The other thing is you can't compare an AR-15 to what you were carrying. It's not the same exact weapon either.
Well, but that doesn't
these
matter.
are all lies. These are all things that he continues to go down that path.
I don't care if he was carrying a potato gun. It doesn't matter. It's the fact that he tried to portray it like he's been in a combat area.
No, but he's using it to take away your guns. You understand? Like he's using that to say, I held a weapon of war and I know what it's like, so I'm going to take away a gun that we would never have used or never had in that. This is such a way. Not only are you using stolen valor, you're then using the stolen valor to take away our right to own a gun, which is even more disgusting.
But he is, again, let's just lay these things out here. First off, he and the rest of them ain't ever getting your guns. All right, we are armed to the teeth in America. That's just how it's going to be. They can complain about it all they want. Oh, we're going to do this. We're going to buy back. We're going to do your guns. You're never going to get the guns. Okay, it's just how it is. But he's trying to get Kamala Harris to be elected.
Yeah,
and that's the bigger danger.
Yeah, it is indeed.
And so that's why I'm going to point out the fact that you know what, you were never there. Hell, my father-in-law had to go spend time in Afghanistan and have mortar rounds sent by the Taliban, into the camp on a regular basis. And you know what he would always say? We were like, are you scared about it? He goes, no, I'm surrounded by the best people in the world. And that dude is pretending like he got a piece of that action.
It's so disgusting. And I want to go back to the point Rhino made because they're going after J.D. Vance for being a PAO, a public affairs officer. And there is a woman, Megan McClung, that's buried in Arlington. She was a public affairs officer in the United States Marine Corps. She was killed by an IED in Iraq. So don't tell me that J.D. Vance even compares to Tim Walz. J.D. went. Tim Walz didn't. It's really simple. It's really cut and dry. And it should be very clear to anybody paying attention or that cares to pay attention. Morning Xtra on Xtra 106.3, Tug, Rhino, and Los. When we come back, another sham Trump trial is moving forward. Now that the Supreme Court kicked it back to the lower court, we'll talk about that next on Xtra 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station. They didn't push Biden out because he had dementia. They pushed him out because the American people found out about it.
Yeah, that's right.
The Kimmer Show every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Neil Borch here. Maybe you've already taken the steps to improve your health, maybe save your life. You're using a CPAP for your sleep apnea. I've been using one for well over 20 years. So right now, I'm here to tell you about a source for CPAPs and CPAP supplies here in the Atlanta area. CPAPs, etc. They're in Alpharetta. They have whatever you need. Roddy and Sharon are your CPAP experts, and they'll ship nationwide. More information, CPAPs.com. etc.com.
Have you heard about Sonder and their Georgia-based Medicare Advantage health plans? Sonder Health Plans is committed to revolutionizing healthcare, making it straightforward, personal, and affordable. Call them and ask if you qualify for their fantastic $400 grocery card offer and $0 premiums. They've even got their own radio show and podcast called Weekend Wellness, dedicated to keeping all Georgians healthy and happy at every age. Call 800-331-2928 or visit SonderHealthPlans.com. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
Have you thought about securing your hard-earned assets? Do you have concerns about the future? Protecting assets is crucial, and that's where Nelson Elder Care Law excels. As a family-owned and family-focused firm, we provide absolute assurance and peace of mind through our trademarked Absolute Protection Trust, tailored services in estate planning, probate administration, Medicaid crisis solutions, guardianship, and conservatorship. Our goal is to exceed your expectations and empower informed decisions. Visit NelsonElderCareLaw.com for asset protection and peace of mind.
Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watch Company, where quality and value make the difference. Locally owned and located in Sandy Springs, offering you the finest selection of unique diamonds, sapphires, rubies, and emerald jewelry, as well as other fine gemstones. Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watches has been servicing Rolex watches for over 30 years, and their Rolex-trained watchmaker will service your watch in their state-of-the-art Rolex service center in their store. Lee Brandt uses only genuine Rolex parts, and their estimates are free. Drop by Lee Brandt in the Trader Joe's Shopping Center in Sandy Springs or visit LeeBrandt.com. For anyone living with everyday aches and pains, there's a lot of things you can try. You know, tough it out, bite the bullet, grin and bear it. Or you can try something that has helped so many other people, Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients that addresses the inflammation where pain starts. And Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain for a short time. It helps reduce or even eliminate it all day, every day. Wherever you're hurting, your back, neck, joints, or muscles, in about 3 weeks or less, you'll see a difference and rediscover what it's like to feel better and live better. So if everyday pain is affecting your life, don't go with the mind over matter approach. Try Relief Factor instead. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor.
Media Minute with Howard Kurtz.
Donald Trump, having been overshadowed the last 2 weeks by all the hoopla, all the media hype about Kamala Harris and now her running mate Tim Walz, when have I ever said that before, held an hour-long news conference at Mar-a-Lago yesterday. And he just took on all kinds of questions, was pretty disciplined, mostly avoided personal attacks, and it was a way of grabbing the spotlight. As a direct result, no question about it, for the first time in this campaign, having been hammered by the Trump team for not talking to reporters, Kamala Harris took a few questions from assembled journalists. She defended Walz against attacks on his military record, and she also talked about how they've agreed to a debate. No way that happens without Trump trying to seize the spotlight, at least briefly. With your Media Minute, Howie Kurtz, Fox News.
Hey gang, it's your old friend Neil Bortz. You can catch me every Tuesday morning here on the Morning Xtra. Now back to Tug, Rhino, and Carlos on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Tug, Rhino, and Los until 10. Then the Glenn Beck program, Clay Travis and Buck Sexton. And then the coolest dude you'll ever meet, the baddest Marine you'll ever meet. Kimmer, the Kimmer Show, 3 until 6, only on Extra 106.3. Download the app so you can listen live and on demand throughout the day.
Running through old ladies all over Atlanta, and I love them for it.
That's right. Stay away from my mama.
You ain't been in love till you've been with Kimmer.
That's what I hear. That's what I'm afraid of. We've been talking about the Olympics a little bit. We had the kid from Marietta that won the bronze, which is super, super cool. I was reading about the medals, and the medals, they haven't been made of pure gold since like 1912 or whatever. Now gold medals are 95% silver and worth about $1,000. Silver medals are worth about, I think they said about $1,500. And bronze medals are physically worth $13. Or the same as a burrito bowl at Chipotle or something.
Man, so inflation didn't help that out?
No.
That's disappointing.
Yeah. But, so, and you get I want to say if you win a gold medal, you get $37,000 for winning a gold medal.
Yeah, from your Olympic organization,
exactly
it typically bonuses you.
Yeah, they give you a nice little hit. And but all of that aside, and all that's great. And I don't know if you know this, I learned this about the actual medals this year because it's in Paris. They took iron from the original building of the Eiffel Tower and have small pieces of that iron from the original build of the Eiffel Tower that is melted into those medals. I mean, I don't know what the percentage is. I'm sure it's very small, but still, it's just
still
something
a little
different.
reminder where you got it at.
Man,
Yeah, I got it in Paris.
However, the best thing that's happened to Olympic athletes so far is 3 women who medaled in the 200 got a call from Snoop on the phone. You saw the kid that was a swimmer at Georgia. He got a call from Coach Kirby Smart. But, the ladies who won the 200 got a call from Snoop Dogg. Man, if that doesn't put the cherry on top of everything that you've done in Paris, getting to talk to Snoop on the phone for a little bit.
$500,000 a day.
That's right.
To be the brand,
$15 million total.
To be a brand ambassador. And I think it's actually kind of worked. Yeah. It's been kind of fun whenever he gets involved in... He'll go randomly check in and go sit with families.
Yeah.
That's kind of fun.
It is awesome. Hearing him call the badminton, hearing him call some of the sports has been really,
he'll go
really
sit
funny.
with swimming parents and just chat, and you're like, that's pretty cool.
I'm telling you, he's America's favorite uncle. He's the uncle that comes over and raises Cane and makes the kids laugh, and everybody loves him.
That's a long way from dealing drugs on the street as a teenager.
Do y'all have that uncle though? Because
oh yeah.
I have my favorite. My favorite uncle was Bob. My Uncle Bob's passed on. He just always we always shot guns together in his backyard. He always taught me. He taught me so much, and he was as country as cornbread. When my wife Laura first met him, he basically said, "Welcome. It's great to meet you. Glad that you're here. Can I make you something to eat? What is it you need?" And she just looked at him with a blank stare. And waited about, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 seconds after he's done speaking, trying to process it all, because if you think I'm country, you should have heard Uncle Bob. And she just said, I have no idea what you just said. That was their introduction. And then he and her became super close, and his wife, my mom's sister, my Aunt Shirley, for a long time, my wife was actually closer to my Aunt Shirley than she was my own mama. It was just, they just connected, they bonded. It's like they're old souls together. It's like they grew up together.
I think it was more on my mom's side of the family. So she has 2 brothers. Like, my mom is the oldest of the siblings, and she has 2 younger brothers. And they both just basically took turns, like, where are we taking him? How are we raising him? And so, yeah, like Uncle Michael, Uncle Jimmy, those are mine where I'm like, they cool all the time.
Yeah. This is great. And I think Snoop kind of has become that for people, that favorite uncle that everybody has.
Uncle Snoop.
He's made such an imprint on the Olympics, and I don't know that I ever expected that.
Kind of seemed like a weird thing to do, and now it's like, it's totally worked.
Yeah.
It's totally
because
worked.
There's a lot of those people that have been there too, that it's just like, it's fine. I'll be honest, Michael Phelps, he's been there. It's been fine. It's cool when he handed the kid broke his record, he put the kid's medal on.
Yeah.
It's a cool moment. Snoop has had so many moments. He's had as many moments as some of the athletes have had.
Really? I wouldn't know. I haven't watched any of it.
It's been extraordinary to see. It's been so much fun to cheer on Team USA, and my family has been just glued.
It's just different. And again, she's kind of funny, but Leslie Jones, I think, is very hit and miss.
Yeah.
SNL totally fits with NBC, and they'll use her as a correspondent on all these things. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It always works when it's Snoop.
It does.
Yeah. I just don't know if he's just a chameleon.
Like a chameleon.
Yeah, he gets along with everybody in a weird way.
He really does. Cool. Well, you know why? Because he just has fun.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, that's what he said.
He just knows how to be laid back.
There's no underhanded remarks or any kind of statements politically or non-politically. It's all about having fun watching something that everybody else is watching, and that's why I'd imagine it'd be a lot of fun to listen to him do. And I love Snoop Dogg. I think he's fantastic.
Just hanging. The dude is hanging out in Paris for $500,000 a day. Like, you have won,
great.
sir. You've won all of it.
You've won the life lottery. You have won.
Did y'all see any of Colin Jost in Tahiti during the surfing?
I didn't, but I heard a lot about it, and I saw a lot of social media about it.
Really funny. He was all just self-deprecating, and
he's
got
funny
his
anyway.
Foot cut up on
that's why he had to leave, because he got
surfing.
staph infection.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, what a way to end your coverage. I got cut up on my foot, and I got a staph infection in Tahiti. I'm going home.
I think if I do watch any Olympic events, I want to make sure that Snoop's doing them, though.
Yeah, right. No, absolutely.
Make it actually
makes it better.
enjoyable.
It makes it better, because I would have never watched, badminton, and then to hear him on and to catch a little bit of that was just it made it so fun and so funny.
Why don't they have age divisions? Like, why can't old people participate? That'd be fun.
I just think it's the best of the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like old people shuffleboard or something would be fun. And have Snoop Dogg do that.
Like an actual event that old people could excel at. I see what you mean. Yeah, I don't know. They need to work. I mean, they put damn breakdancing in there. Surely they can put some sort of pickleball or something.
Like walker walking?
Yeah, that's right. Scooter racing.
Yeah. Scooter racing.
That's right. Rascal racing.
Yeah.
Bocce ball.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, dude.
Yeah. Water aerobic.
It's something. Yeah. Look, I think it's a good idea. I don't know why they don't consider it.
I'm just saying it right now. So, yes, he did go to the Serbia-USA basketball game, but he was also at the Brazil USA women's volleyball match.
Yeah.
Which was that was amazing. It was 5 sets. It was great. So, yeah, that's what he was doing yesterday.
And people were nervous about that Serbia basketball game, too.
Yeah, what happened there? I saw it on social media that they were going to lose.
They were down 17. They
pulled it out.
Wow, what a shock.
They were playing against the best player in the world, okay? Like, you're having to face the Joker, and the dude is... again, I always thought to myself, like, it's going to come down to them or Serbia, and it just so happened they were able to get it done from coming down 17. So good for them. Gold medal match.
Now, versus the French.
Yeah, they'll play the other freak in the tournament with Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch for sure. We've had all this going on, so we've not paid attention to some of the nonsense that's gone on with the lawfare against Donald Trump, and it almost seemed like it kind of lost its luster or lost the wind in the sails, even in the mainstream media. But expect that to change, Rhino, and it's probably going to change quickly, because the mainstream media, the drive-bys, as Rush would have called them, they're going to jump on this revival of this case. And this is the January 6th case that got kicked down from the Supreme Court. This is going to be the new drums that will start beating against Donald Trump in favor of Kamala Harris.
Yeah, obviously we know that the presidential immunity thing has become a big deal now. So they are now looking at it, and Judge Tanya Chutkan has said, no, that doesn't matter. We're going to move ahead, and if it comes into play, it comes into play. We'll go that route. It's no surprise that when they are losing steam, when they're trying to figure out, we couldn't get him in some of these other cases. What do we still have out there? We know that Jack Smith has been, kind of, how do I say it? Weaponized? Yeah. This is the best way to say it, I guess.
Just be direct, just straightforward.
Be weaponized against Donald Trump and been put in this position. Probably not by the correct way of putting him in this position. But it doesn't surprise me that this is the narrative. It's been the narrative. It's probably being sent out to all the streamers and say, hey, we'll pay you if you say this.
Definitely.
Say that Donald Trump is a threat, and that if he were to win, or if lose, he is going to cause another riot. He is going to cause another Jan 6. So let's be clear and bring this back into everybody's mind a little bit for the election, and we're going to go ahead and start this case up, and I believe that's exactly what they're trying to do by moving ahead with the sham trial.
Absolutely, dude. How do we keep the focus off of Kamala Harris not talking to the media? How do we keep the focus off of Kamala Harris and the fact that she's an avowed Marxist communist? How do we do that? I've got a plan. Let's kick back up this lawfare against Donald Trump. Let's make that the centerpiece of the discussion. So So the fact that Kamala is not speaking to anyone, that gets looked over. And it was going to anyway, but this really takes the spotlight off of her and puts it on Trump.
Well, send her to prison in September. See how that goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you want to have the all-time backfires? I mean, how did you have this entire idea of we're going to take all these cases and we're going to sit on them for 8 years, and then suddenly we're going to make sure we get this thing rolling just in time so he has to deal with this while he's campaigning. I remember the whole first part of the initial part of this campaign, he couldn't leave New York.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is the game that is being played.
That's the lawfare, and it's effective. It's been absolutely effective. And if you get tired of seeing all of these protests, all the things that you don't find to be appealing about what's happening in our country, get ready, because the kids are going back to school. My son goes back to school this weekend.
Yay, campus.
Guess what's about to kick up in high gear, and that is campus protests. They have been reloading on the college campuses. They have been preparing. They've been funded by Iran. They've been funded by the EPA, of all people. Your own tax dollars are going toward these campus protests, and you thought what you saw last fall was terrible? Wait till they get there. They've already said they will do anything they can by any means necessary to cause issue and disruption.
I'm so excited for us to have another round of, all right, who is doing this and how do we keep you from ever being employed? Like, right? Like, remember, the government ain't going to do anything to you, but the private sector can.
Unless you're UGA. Unless you're UGA. How about them dogs? They get it right.
It is going to be fun to see. And I saw this video yesterday, and it was an Israeli woman who had already served in the military, and she was on a college campus, and she was asking students about what they knew about October 7th. And it was amazing how little they knew. Mm-hmm. And so when she's asking, like, hey, do you know that these terrorists showed up at a music festival that was about peace and love, and they killed 340 people? And before she said it, they were like, oh, that sounds terrible. I never heard about that. And then it's like, yeah, this is when it was. And immediately they changed it to
right back.
Well, the Palestinian people have been persecuted.
They hit the talking points that they've been
and they went right back to their talking points.
These are the groups. This is who they have to energize. This is what they're going to do, and this is the message they're going to get out. They interrupted Kamala Harris's speech, and then she yelled at him and broke him down, but she is the one who energized these groups and continued to energize these groups. The elected Democrats that called for the genocide of Jews in the House and outside of the House, those are the people that they've energized to do this, and these kids are being indoctrinated through TikTok and through other areas, and they're causing trouble. But I'm glad that UGA is doing what they're doing, and I hope other colleges, that have common sense, because you're not going to get this from your Ivy Leagues. No. They support the fact that they also seem to hate Jews, and it is it's very, very sad that we're living in this country right now.
Their action would say that.
Yeah, where we have these people who have been indoctrinated, and we're feeding them.
These protests are professionally planned and staged. These emotionally fragile students, the ones that actually participate that are not staged, they just need a sense of belonging, and they found it in this chaos and this unnecessary activity. And it drives me up the wall. The two things before we get to headlines that I want you to keep in mind. I believe this ramp up of college protests again will hurt the Democrats, because they are the ones who embrace it. They're the ones who even foster it. But secondly, if and when Donald Trump wins, expect this to be on steroids.
Oh, yeah. It's just a different hat again. Remember, they're going to switch the hat to something else, and it'll be anti-Donald Trump, anti-this, anti-that. But, yeah, this is gonna go down, especially since Netanyahu really praised Donald Trump rather than praising Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So I think a lot of these protesters, of course, they're going to continue down this path and continue their destruction and show. This is why I said Donald Trump needs to show. This is Kamala Harris's America. This is her vision for what? They want to cause civil unrest. This is the best way for them to do it.
This is the end.
It's the end.
Hey, just what it is. Just indulge in it. Enjoy it.
Yeah, but I don't enjoy it.
I know. But you know what? You got to put a happy face on some of this
buddy,
stuff.
you won't have to work hard.
Because what happens is
you won't have to work 4 jobs anymore.
If Donald Trump is able to pull this off and win, you're going to see the biggest attack on the Constitution that we've probably seen in our nation's history. And then that won't even talk about the street violence that'll come from their side.
So I'm saying, like, there doesn't seem to be a win moving forward. If they win, America's in the gutter, or continues down the gutter, continue down the toilet. And if Trump wins, they're going to set the entire country on fire, just like they did in 2020. And it won't stop for 4 years, though. That's just going to be a small taste.
And we think at times they're like, oh, it's their side. This is what remember, this is all being funded from all around the world.
Well, but from taxpayer dollars, too, from the EPA, who gives donations to, or not donations, grants. What's the organization? The Alliance of Immigrant Justice. They also support climate initiatives, surprising, and open borders.
Just saying that let's say if you cut off all those tax dollars, you're going to find money internationally, just like Iran is funding this stuff, right, that is going to be funding disorder and problems in the streets.
8 o'clock hours brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier expert, 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Friday, August 9th. The state election board voted 3-1 to post signs outside polling places in November that read U.S. citizens only. Board member Janice Johnson held up a sample sign explaining that it provides an easy visual for people to understand and will help prevent non-citizens from unwittingly violating election law. The sign will be emailed to all 159 counties, encouraging election officials to hang them up outside polling locations and election offices. A Rome high school bus carrying student athletes overturned and slid into a power pole, knocking out power for 500 residents in Aragon, Georgia last night. According to the school, all students and staff were accounted for, although officials have not released any details about injuries. The cause of the crash remains under investigation. And in sports, the Atlanta Braves were outscored 34-12 in a 3-game sweep by the Milwaukee Brewers. Yesterday, the Brew Crew delivered 6 home runs, 20 hits, and a 16-7 shellacking of the Braves. The Braves have lost 5 straight games and sit in 3rd place in the division. They will head to Colorado tonight to take on the Rockies in an 8:40 start. Grant Holmes will be on the mound, aiming for his first win of the season. You can catch all the action on our sister station, 680 The Fan.
Tim Walz doesn't want the weapons of war he carried on the streets, but there's one major problem with his concern. Next on Extra 106.3, Tug, Rhino, and Los until 10.
Atlanta radio legends, proud military vets, national network experts are all on Extra 106.3.
It's going to be an interesting couple of months.
With live and local shows in the morning and afternoon, and the biggest conservative hosts in the country throughout the day. We are always here with the latest news and opinions you need.
There's no chance if the media and the Department of Justice and social media are all against you.
No traffic interruptions, no former shock jocks, just Atlanta legends you've turned to for a generation. The conservative voice of Atlanta. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Hey fans, summer is here and you know what that means. Exterior painting season. At Atlanta Painting Company, this summer, save 10% off of all exterior projects and get a free color consultation. We understand how valuable your home is, so protect your investment with our industry-leading warranty and unmatched customer service. Don't just take our word for it. We have over 900 Google reviews telling you why we're the painters you can trust. Ready to get started? Visit us online at atlantapaintingcompany.com to schedule your free home consultation. The Atlanta Painting Company, the painters you can trust.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 4 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffer from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. There are lots of competitors that don't have the credentials that I have. When you go to other clinics, you're not going to see a board-certified physician with the experience that I have. When you come to our clinic, you're going to see me. There's just not not one therapy that can solve these complex issues. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Bronies, or PE issues. Total Body Therapy of Georgia, 404-777-1911, 404-777-1911, online at stopmyed.com.
Hi, it's Glenn Beck, and I saw a statistic recently that jumped out at me. In 2017, home equity grew by a staggering $908 billion in America. That represents a 12% increase year over year. For most Americans, home equity is the biggest chunk of their personal wealth. At realestateagentsitrust.com, we see adult children who seek our help and sell their parents' homes. Often, the home is in a distant city and the condition of the home can be poor. And of course, our agents at realestateagentsitrust.com go above and beyond to help those families sell these homes, and that's a great feeling for everybody involved, including us. But it makes me wonder if there might be a better way. Have you considered looking at the equity you have in your home? It might be smart to sell now and downsize and have that equity to enjoy your golden years. If so, I urge you to go to realestateagentsitrust.com and let one of our agents see what might be possible by leveraging the equity in your home. realestateagentsitrust.com. That's realestateagentsitrust.com.
Hi, this is Ben.
And I'm Walt from Horizon Background Screening. There are two ways that we generally help businesses. First, as they're going through the hiring process with people, help them to find the criminal history. If somebody's on the sex offender registry, needless to say, most companies need to screen those people out. If they're going to be driving a vehicle, if they're going to be in people's houses, we need to make sure that we understand what their history is to protect your company and to protect your clients, but also to protect your employees.
Our pre-employment background checks, FCRA compliant. We're going to make sure you stay good with the EEOC, all those kind of things. Our PI stuff is going to be a little bit different. We can dig a little bit deeper. We have different avenues, and we can get into kind of the weeds of things, which on those kind of cases we want to do. 25 plus years, we've just been blessed with growth and have basically become a nationwide provider of both pre-employment background checks and private investigative services.
The best way for people to find us is on our website. A quick Google search of Horizon Background Screening or look at us at horizonscreening.com.
Xtra 106.3 is the only station in Atlanta to bring you the legend Neil Vortz, a live and local news talk show on your ride in, and the Kimmer Show every afternoon. Be here at 3 for the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder, only on Xtra 106.3 and the Xtra app.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Xtra. You know how things have gotten to a fever pitch when people that don't normally text you about politics start texting you about politics? My buddy, I've told you about it. He was in my wedding. He hit me and he was like, "What's next on your 2024 apocalypse bingo card?" And I was like, Iran attacking Israel this weekend. He was like, "What do you think's going to happen?"
Yeah. Is this your cousin who's been to prison?
No, this is just a buddy of mine. We grew up together, went to high school together, and he lives in Woodstock these days, but works up in Cummings. So.
It is interesting how often I will get, and a lot of it was centered around when the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. The amount of people that started, because we all started texting each other, the amount of randoms I started getting from friends of mine, it's like, oh my God, what is happening? What's happening next? It's people get engaged at this point.
Well, you have to be engaged right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you have to be engaged. This is probably one of the most trying times in this country's history, and we are trying to make sure that we keep this country a republic, not a banana republic, and that's where we need to really put our focus. Too late, right? But yeah, we think about this all the time now. Like, we've seen some of the craziest things. The only thing I could think of is when maybe the aliens come down and they kidnap Donald Trump. Maybe. That could be it.
When they announce it, well, we thought about messing with y'all, but we're not really going to be messing with y'all.
Let me ask you this, because a lot of people that I talk to, and some of them are apolitical or they don't understand and they just kind of ask questions.
A lot of them ask questions, yeah.
But one of them was, do you think that they will try to assassinate Donald Trump? And I was like, wow, that's a really interesting question. Why did you ask that? Yes.
Again.
And they said, I don't think, it's weird because I don't know These are people who don't believe in conspiracy theories, but don't believe that this was just some kid who decided to do this. They think maybe there's an inside job. And I'm like, okay, well, listen, right now we got to follow all the evidence that they do have until we get more answers. But why would you think? And they said, I think he's such a threat to them. They're going to try again, especially if Kamala Harris loses in another debate.
I know as much as Rhino might host a Rhino conspiracy and indulge in this stuff at times, I don't think he's wrong one bit. I think that you've politicized this to the point you've weaponized mentally a group that seriously believe he's Hitler.
Yeah.
Like they believe they think they're going down in history of doing something good.
And the fact that they've released the new body cam video through a Freedom of Information Act, and you hear those local police officers saying, the roof is not secure. We talked to the Secret Service. They said they were going to secure it. They did not. And it goes back to, okay, maybe they didn't, hire this kid. They didn't have an involvement. They just knew that eventually, if you let enough cracks in the dam will explode.
Yeah.
The dam will fall, and then it'll just happen. I think willful negligence is what I feel like has happened. And if y'all recall, it was the babes, out of the mouth of babes, that we got. Remember when we weren't sure when we walked in on that Monday morning, and it was Board Op Goey, Virgin River, and intern Andrew, both of them who lean different politically, were like, government's involved.
I don't blame people for thinking that. I want to think that this was just what it looks like. A kid who has been indoctrinated via social media and others to think a way about a man because they've pushed this narrative for so long that this man is going to be a dictator from day one, will be a modern day Hitler, that he's a Nazi, that he's full of hate, despite, going back
Evidence
in
to the
history
contrary.
and evidence to the contrary. When you go back and hear from 1999, when Jesse Jackson talks about what this man has done for the black community in New York and how valuable he is, or Oprah Winfrey saying that, then all of a sudden a change when he goes and attacks the government and says, hey, we need this for all the people. Then he gets attacked. These people are deranged now. We're not getting the mental help. That's the problem with not having asylums or mental institutions anymore.
I just know that
people need help.
When you hear about a terrorist that was saying, I'm going to plot this assassination, and if I'm not mistaken, he was an Iranian guy. I'm going to plot this assassination, and then I'm going to get out of the country before the assassination attempt happens. The FBI says, no, this man has nothing to do with the Butler incident, yet he was wanting to assassinate the former president, and he left the day before at the airport. I mean, sure, is that circumstantial evidence? Yeah, but does the math work? Yeah, it does.
But what part of this government over the last, let's say, 6 years, 4 years, whatever you want to do, because I'm including some of the stuff that occurred under Trump, where is the trust level, being that they have said so many things to you that you know now to be completely false? They've knowingly 100%. Lied to you for years and years and years, and you're now going, is it weird that I don't trust you when it comes to some of these things?
No, you'd be stupid to trust them.
Yeah, and especially since, the same guy that you're talking about said, he had flown in here and 25 different people that he had spoken to about assassinating Donald Trump, trying to pay them $5,000 to assassinate Donald Trump. And he offered it to one of these agents who, thank goodness, was undercover and made sure that he made the arrest. But again, this was on June 12th that they brought him in. And, he had already said he's made all these phone calls. So if he's already talked to 25 people, have they been weaponized? So is there a thought that it might happen again? Absolutely.
It'd be crazy to think otherwise.
Yeah.
It'd be crazy to
So
think
if you ask what's on my bingo card, it's another attempt.
Hey, I can't wait to share with y'all off the air what he sent me back, and maybe
Is it a nude?
Yeah, well, he sent me those before.
Oh, okay.
That's nothing new. He watches old sketch all the time.
What's up, brother?
I picked up some pointers from Sketch. Tug, what are you doing later?
Exactly.
There are new listeners that are going like, what is this obsession with this guy named Sketch?
Yeah. Go look him up, or don't. Actually, you know what? I did bad. No.
You're going to learn some stuff today.
Don't look him up.
Man, let that kid recover from his bad decision.
Yeah. Anyway.
Or that's how he got here.
Yeah.
There you go.
Just saying.
Listen, if you had to go into a little bit of a career, I'd celebrate it.
All right, thank you.
Trump says Kamala can't handle the most basic presidential responsibilities, and he's right. She cannot. Next.
time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Xtra 106.3.
It is time, my friends, to start thinking about what it's going to be like for you and your family to live in America with Kamala Harris in the White House. Trump's campaign is a disaster. Name-calling, that's it. Name-calling. While Kamala Harris is telling you exactly what she's going to do when she becomes president. Most Americans aren't listening. Most Americans aren't capable of listening and comprehending. Most Americans have been educated by the government. So what would you expect? She was speaking at a union hall, United Auto Workers, in Michigan, along with Tim Walz, who I have to say is a fantastic campaigner. A loony leftist, but a fantastic campaigner. And Kamala Harris said, we want dignity for all people. We want to recognize the pride that all people have to freedom and liberty to make choices, especially those that are about heart and home, and not have the government telling them what to do. Okay, first of all, I don't know what the phrase pride to freedom means. We'll leave that to her. Word salad. But in her next breath, she was talking about collective bargaining. We believe in the collective. The collective is defined as a group of people acting together. So, about Kamala's dedication to freedom. Give her a Democrat Congress, and you will not have the freedom to work without joining a union, without paying union dues. That's the collective. Make her the president, you will not have the freedom of school choice. You will, by God, send your kid to the school that they want you to send them to. Teachers' unions will be more powerful than ever. A lot to look forward to, people. The collective. Forget individualism. Neil Bortz, Xtra 106.3.
Marketing is everywhere. From the billboards on the highways to the notifications on your phone, we are constantly bombarded with people trying to sell us stuff. What makes good marketing? Are you doing enough in your life personally and professionally to market yourself? You have questions, and the Marketing Madmen have answers. Tune in every Saturday, now at 4 p.m., right here on Xtra 106.3 to get practical marketing advice from expert guests who are shaping and reshaping the business world. They say marketing is a madman's game. Join the Marketing Madmen every Saturday at 4 p.m. to find out why.
Politics get heated, but should never become violent. With so many questions about what happens next, trust the conservative voice of Atlanta for the latest news and the voices you need during such an uncertain time in America.
Okay, we've had the Supreme Court. It's one of our three pillars of our government and our country. We've had it around for 250 plus years. And you have the sitting president, the demented one in the White House, telling the American people that the Supreme Court is now a threat to our democracy.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court is a threat to our democracy. Talk about undermining the people's faith in things.
Not only that, remember, this president is the guy who was bragging about getting around the Supreme Court to get the student bailout program going. I mean, every chance he got, he'd been condemning them. He wants to set term limits for justices on the court.
Proud to be Atlanta's conservative news and talk station, Xtra 106.3 and the Xtra app. WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 9 a.m. hour is presented by Southern Exteriors. Quality and precision you can rely on.
A renewed attempt to stop the war in Gaza. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
The leaders of Qatar, Egypt, and the U.S. released a joint statement last night calling for Israel and Hamas to urgently broker peace.
But Fox's Alex Hogan also reports from Tel Aviv. Israel's just started a new offensive in Gaza, targeting Hamas militants in their tunnels.
IDF tanks rolled back into the southern city of Han Yunis, forcing displaced civilians to evacuate.
U.S. fighter jets have also arrived, bolstering the American military presence after Iran threatened to attack Israel. There's been a third arrest in the terror plot that canceled Taylor Swift concerts in Austria.
An 18-year-old man is in custody in Vienna after investigators say he was in contact with the main suspect, a 19-year-old who was arrested arrested along with a 17-year-old on Tuesday. They're accused of targeting 3 sold-out Eras Tour shows in Vienna.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Taylor Swift's 5 concerts next week in London are still scheduled unaffected. Former President Trump will rally today in Montana, one of the non-battleground states he'll go to.
I'm leading those states, as you know, by 35, 40, 50 points. I'm leading by record numbers. I'm going because I want to help senators and congressmen get elected.
He said that at a long news conference at the Trump Florida resort, saying he and Vice President Harris have agreed to a September 10th debate, and he wants 2 more.
It's about policy. It's not about her. I think she's incompetent.
Now, Vice President Harris says she's considering more debates as her campaign puts out a new ad.
Kamala Harris knows what it's like to be middle class. It's why she's determined to lower healthcare costs and make housing more affordable.
The Vice President and running mate Tim Walz will campaign today in Arizona. Debbie is no longer a tropical system, but as its remnants move quickly north through Virginia up to Vermont, potentially spawning tornadoes and causing more flooding, an 8th death has been blamed on Debbie, a woman near Greensboro, North Carolina, killed by a falling tree. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here with urgent news. The world's central banks are making unprecedented moves, and it's time to pay attention. In 2022 and 2023, they bought more gold than ever before. And now in 2024, the trend is accelerating. Why? Because central banks have lost faith in the dollar. And in these uncertain times, gold is the ultimate safe haven. If you too are worried about the dollar, I urge you to take similar action by diversifying your IRA or 401k into gold with my trusted friends at Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. I trust Birch Gold. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax advantaged status. So text PROTECT to 989898. That's PROTECT to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Message and data rates may apply.
Wake up with the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3 Atlanta.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3 with some Toby Keith.
Winter getting colder, summer getting warmer. Tidal wave come across the Mexican border.
Dude, this song's so good.
It's cheaper by the barrel. Just
that
don't
voice,
get
man.
busted singing Christmas carols.
Here we go.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American.
One of my favorite Toby Keith songs, without a doubt. American Ride is so good.
The world keeps turning.
Something about old country music, man. God, family, country. It's what it's all based on, and it all derived out of Appalachian mountain music and certainly gospel music, whether out of the mountains or out of the cities, but that's where it all spawned from. And the message has never changed. The music styles have changed, but the message, the foundation of country music has never changed, and I don't expect that it ever will. Not that it'll last, not that you'll be listening to 5 years from now or 10 years from now. It's got to be that, like that song, Toby Keith, American Ride, that song will be listened to forever and ever and ever. I don't know that, Shabuzi, as much as I love Tipsy of Our Song, #1 song in the country for the last 4 weeks, as much as I love that song right now, I don't know that 5 years from now I'll love that song. You know what I mean?
What about WAP?
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about country, so I don't know.
Grandkids going to be listening to WAP in the future.
But pop music, I don't know that pop music sticks around like it used to anyway. You know what I mean?
Honestly, I can't even really tell you much about that song other than it will never leave my brain when Ben Shapiro started reading the lyrics. That sticks out more to me than the actual song.
That's right.
And, so we used to have somebody we used to work with. For those of you out there who have been following the radio station for a long time, so Caitlin Henderson.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
Sweetheart girl.
She was my first intern on the morning show at 101.5.
Okay, so she's been in this game quite a while.
She's been around.
Tall girl, crazy blonde hair, sweetest girl in the world. Her and her husband, actually, he just beat cancer about a year or two ago. It's like they've been through a lot. They're good people. One of the funniest things was, because she's a churching girl, like she's very sweet. Like if you curse around her, like she looks at you like you did something wrong. When I played that video for her, Rhino,
and
she just, and I recorded her, and she's just sitting there watching it and listening to it. And she just goes, "Oh God,
That's
oh
filthy.
no, oh it's filthy."
Oh,
and
God,
like
poor girl.
she thought to herself, "I need a shower and I got to go to church right now."
Yeah, we Tug and I, we also had a former worker, Hudson Mason, who also was very
That's
shy.
grew up very, very sheltered.
And I grabbed that
Devil's the
song.
devil.
Yeah, I grabbed that song and started playing it for him. And yeah, Tug and I laughed because we tried to play it on air at one point when beeped out everything we could.
There's no way.
But then we showed him the lyrics and he was like, no.
Poor Hudson.
Yeah.
Like Hudson did grow up where there was no cable in the house.
That's right.
There was
Tug blush too, though.
Yeah,
let's be real. we all
to be
did.
honest, yeah, because it's filthy.
But you think about a former Georgia quarterback, and again, friend to all of us, and you think, okay, you're going to be exposed to some crazy stuff. Well, Hudson really wasn't exposed to that until he started working with us.
Poor guy.
Which was the funny part about it.
And he left us to go
Yes.
to work for Chick-fil-A,
He's
one
like-
of the
he's
most holy companies in freaking the world.
I'm going to God's Chicken.
That's
You
right.
guys are too much.
Seriously, I got to get away from y'all. I have got to get myself away from y'all and your filth. Good Lord.
Get a bucket and a mop.
That's exactly
Macaroni in the pot.
That's exactly right.
That's right. Good old Hudson.
I'm
I'm going to text him in a little bit. He texted us a few weeks ago.
I ran into him. Jacob was working because he works over at Onward, and Hudson's walking down the street pushing the baby stroller. He's trying to give his wife a little bit of a break. And so he's got the baby girls, and he was
Do you have
going
any
in.
Chick-fil-A coupons? Because otherwise I have no reason to talk to him.
And I tell you, one of the weirdest things that we would have go on, and this was years ago.
Chick-fil-A coupons.
But this is before him and his wife were ever pregnant, before they ever had their girls. And we had our coworker, Brian Hoyt, and I remember somehow it came up during a radio show, and he flat out was like, "Yeah, I mean, I'd probably cheat on my wife with Hudson's wife, but she's like the only one." And that became like this running thing on the radio show that, Hudson, if you ever die, just know that our friend Hoyt, our former coworker, is going to try and move in on your wife. And Hudson got to the point
At
where
the
it was
funeral, by the way.
It got to this point where it was so regular. You're like, your mouth is agape. Hudson would just be like, "Yeah, no, it's a good call."
No, it's not.
But he got it regular, where Hudson got to the point where it wasn't even offensive to him anymore.
right.
He almost took it as a compliment.
Yeah,
Good.
funny.
That's what I love about Hudson.
Yeah.
Hudson was just like, "I'm not going to get worked up about it."
Seriously, man, if I'm dead, I ain't gonna know anyway. You know, it's like, I guess it's like Kimber trying to move in on my mama.
Yeah, you just know. It's like,
Now it's kind of become just the discussion point.
But you also know that the percentages there are low.
Yeah,
so you're not
probably low.
really entertaining it.
No,
Like, there's no way.
Are they that low?
Yeah, it seems.
I mean, they're not zero.
They're not zero.
Okay.
No.
But it ain't
There's a
like
chance.
80.
Okay,
Yeah. It's less.
It's
possible
like
than
Rhino and I winning the lottery. Like, the chances are not
Okay.
good.
Not good.
But there's a chance.
But do y'all
never know.
play? Do you even play the lottery? Because I don't.
No, I don't.
know I'm not
Not
winning because I
really.
never play. Yeah.
But if
So
I
there we go.
played,
I did,
my chances aren't zero.
Right.
No, right.
Got a chance.
Very close to zero, but not zero.
Yeah, I'll be hit by
I think
lightning
Kimmer's,
twice.
Yeah,
I think
before.
Kimmer's got a better chance. All he needs is an address, which I think we could find and furnish.
I ain't telling you.
Just hear that.
And he would just, you know what he would do?
Coming up
he
the
would
driveway.
sit outside Mama's house with a boombox, like say anything.
Yeah.
And he'd just sit there and just letting it play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just he'd put some UB40 on it. He would just sit out there.
It's funny.
And then he'd have like cut-ins of Tug accepting this and being okay with it, saying, "See, even your son's okay with it." holding
Flounders
it up.
pulling it and cutting it up. As the times I've played along with this hellish idea.
Yeah. No, Flounders on the roof, just dropping little rose petals over her.
That's right.
Kimmer. Yeah.
I love it.
He just
Make it
spraying
all red.
sage and incense everywhere.
Stepdaddy Kimmer. I've got a question for you. When you were in the Marine Corps, yeah, I can hear it now.
Oh, does that mean like Flounder gets to move in with you guys too?
Oh yeah, that's true.
Well, I don't live with Mama, so
Well, you will.
Well, you
Kimmer
will,
bring
but-
you back home.
That's right, in the future.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I
But
guess.
that, because somebody's got to operate the CPAP.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. I'm not doing that.
It's you know, it's kind
When
of
Laura leaves you for a woman,
Yeah.
then you are moving back in with Kimmer and Mama.
I guess I won't have a
and-
choice.
Yeah, and Flounder.
Because it's not fair when you're a dude and get divorced. It's not fair. It's
Could
not
you
going
imagine?
your way.
No.
It's like this would be like the most awesome sitcom. It'd be Kimmer, Mama, and you and Flounder, and that's the house. It's
The
3 men
stepbrothers.
and your
Well,
mom.
but
Be
then
like
the animals. Don't
stepbrothers.
forget all the animals. Mom's gonna love.
I
all
know,
animals.
but still,
Yeah. Country Stepbrothers will be awesome.
yeah.
Country stepbrothers. that's
You and
right.
Flounder be country stepbrothers.
Yeah, I think probably the wheels come off the bus when Mama starts feeding the raccoons and possums and inviting them in the house like she normally does.
Oh,
Kimmer's not going to like that.
And then Kimmer shoots one by accident.
Dude, and let me tell you, it's DIVORCE.
Oh, that's
Tammy Wynette style. If Kimmer were to kill one of her possums or her raccoons or one of her many cats or one of the flea bitten hounds. I mean, it's bad news, man. What's going to happen is bad. What
Kimmer said, coming from mama.
Back off, Kimmer. Back off.
Kimmer, I'll drive. Me and Los will find a way.
Oh, Kimmer's awesome.
Yeah, I love that dude. He would be a great stepdad.
Man, he was so fired up yesterday. I was totally enjoying. That dude didn't lay off until 5:55.
Yeah,
like he was so fired up just talking.
See, I was at the game, so I didn't.
Yeah, no,
Kimmer
was in rare form yesterday. It's a great show yesterday.
Yeah, well, it always is. So make sure you listen to it. And if he brings up my mama, you call me tomorrow because I'll have none of this.
I'm just saying, Kimmer went like he's typically an 8.5. He went to 11 yesterday. I was like, here we go.
Freaking Spinal Tap, turn it up to 11.
That's right.
Yeah. What was
just
it that got him?
10.
What was it that got him so sideways?
Oh no,
was it the Tim Walz? Yeah, I figured
stolen valor.
Yeah,
I mean, there's nothing more insulting to a Marine or anyone else that served their country. I mean, Kimmer went to serve this country. Whether he wanted to or not, he was going to do it. And he loves this country so much, he did.
Amen.
So to see what Tim Walz did is one of the most disgusting things to any Marine, Army, Navy, Air Force, maybe even Space Force. Don't know.
But to then think...
Haven't heard a lot from the Space Force guys.
They're relatively quiet.
Yeah.
But to think that after you serve your country, you then have a chief executive, you have Joe Biden, who says that you're the threat to the country.
Yeah.
Like that, I think really, that pushes Kimmer to a whole other level. And I agree with him.
And I know he's probably talked about this, or I feel certain he's talked about this, because the DOD under Lloyd Austin's watch has done a study of extremism in the military. And they were looking to root out white supremacy in the military. And their own report showed that white supremacy was such a minuscule, like it didn't even
non-factor.
It's a non-factor. Yet, other extremist groups, all leftist extremist groups, were discovered. They're like jaws on the table because what they went to discover wasn't there. What they actually found was leftist extremism being, and that's a small number too, but way more extremists on the left in the military than on the right.
The chance that Kimmer, Marine, conservative talk show host, flies off the handle and does something extreme versus a 20-year-old purple-headed girl. Okay, one of them is a significant threat versus percentage-wise, and yet they're pointing at him and saying, well, you're the enemy, you're the problem.
If you're a Christian conservative male, you are the problem. And that's what Joe Biden said aloud in Philadelphia with the Marines standing behind him. And I've oftentimes wondered, I wonder what was going through those Marines who had to stand post there. What was going through their heads?
Boy, they kept a straight face.
Well, you have to. Military bearing, they all have it.
Yeah, you look back and they're just so professional, but it had to be going through their mind.
Absolutely it did. They had to be standing there going, are you kidding me right now?
Yeah.
Is this dude really saying that the people who have served alongside me or before me are the biggest threat to the country? So as soon as I get out and I am a civilian, then this president and the people who support him are going to turn the gun on me because they're going to say, now I'm the biggest threat.
Right.
And as they're standing there.
Yeah, and no media would ever cover that or actually look into that comment and extract that the way that most of us did or were insulted by when they said that about any of our veterans or former police officers that, they're all the threats. But they will reiterate and narrate a lie about suckers and losers that was never said by Donald Trump, and they'll continue to play that game and allow it to happen every single day. The fact of the matter is this: the biggest threat to our security and safety is President Biden and Kamala Harris and now Tim Walz, who want to make sure that, number one, they take away our guns here in this country. And like Carlos said, we're not going to allow that to happen. But boy, are they going to try. They're going to do their best idea to buy back their guns with your taxpayer money, by the way. But at the same time, we have to go and honor the people that are coming, and they do the opposite. They consider everybody that votes for Trump a threat, including those military members that put their lives on the line.
Morning Extra and Extra 106.3, 9 o'clock hour brought to you by Southern Exteriors, your home exterior solution, 8779 Southern, southernexteriors.co. southernexteriors.co. So the most basic of duties of the President of the United States would be standing in front of journalists and answering their questions. Now, I know it's hostile when it's Donald Trump, just like it was yesterday, but Trump brought it up, and he's so right. This basic duty, Kamala Harris cannot fulfill.
I think it's interesting that Donald Trump has decided, I'm going to come out and here's how he's getting on the offensive, because it's him versus the media versus Kamala Harris and what they've got going on. And he has decided, not only was I going to do a 2:00 press conference, and you saw the narrative, which was Trump is panicking. It's like, no, here's what the game's going to be. I'm going to show you that I can do something that this woman cannot. I'm going to handle a press conference while I'll take your questions and I will answer them on the fly. Not only that, I'll tell you, I've committed to 3 different debates. And that puts it back in her corner where she won't do 2 of them at least. Just one of them. Take a listen, though. This is Donald Trump basically telling you about Kamala Harris and handling pressers.
She's not doing any news conference. You know why she's not doing it? Because she can't do a news conference. She doesn't know how to do a news conference. She's not smart enough to do a news conference. And I'm sorry, we need smart people to lead this country because our country's never been in this danger before.
It's very simple.
Straightforward, man.
To the point.
And but he's exactly right.
Are you smart enough to take in information and then to process it and then give a reasoned response?
But here's the other thing about all of it is the fact that he did it and was with hostile journalists.
Yes.
None of them, 96% of them despise and have no intention of voting for him, are not going to treat him fairly. Kamala Harris is going to walk into a coronation and still won't do it.
A coronation is that's nice. I think it's even nicer than that for her. They actually spread her lies for her and reprint lies that they continue to tell. Not only that, she has her whole propaganda wing, her whole arm at her disposal, and they stand outside and they don't care. They don't care that they're not allowed to ask questions. And when they do ask questions, what are the questions? Not about policy. They don't ever push her on policy.
What's
and that's
your favorite
the fear.
Color?
Yeah, what's your favorite color? Why?
Are you going to do the
How
debates?
do you feel about Donald Trump? He's so divisive, right? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, are you going to do the debate? And the funny part is she's avoiding debating. Whether you like it or not, the only way she will do a debate is if it's controlled, and once again, from one of her friends in the propaganda arm of the media or the Democrat Party. It's got to be ABC. It's got to be for her. She won't do a September 4th with Fox News. In fact, I'll tell you right now, she'll back out of every one if she does even particularly well, or the media covers for her and says, oh, she beat Donald Trump down. She is not able to do a press conference. She won't be able to do a debate, and that's why they need to hide her and keep her where she is so she can continue the same speech over and over and over and over and over again.
Well, but again, we're not talking about policy when she talks about things.
No, she would never, because she has no policy.
I mean,
There
talking
is no
about
policy.
the one thing she's brought up is, I will go after inflation. I'll go on day one.
How?
How is number one. We always talk about how and why. But the other two things is, aren't you the vice president?
What are you waiting on?
Yeah, haven't you had a chance to do this for 3.5 years?
What are we doing here?
Why didn't you take this on?
You're second in charge.
Yeah, what are you going to do about the border? Remember, because you've been in charge of that for a while. Are we going to ask about the border? Are we going to ask how you're going to fight inflation? How you're going to deal with energy? How you're going to deal with gas prices? No, because the answer, she doesn't have the answers.
No clue.
And she doesn't want to give you the answers. Yeah, there's no transparency here.
You referenced something that I really enjoyed yesterday, Tug, going back and listening to the show when you talked about getting a chance to watch the 5. And one of the ideas that was brought up was, she hasn't been given the power or the responsibility to make her own choices. And the first time she did, she gave you Tim Walz.
Yeah, right. It's exactly right. When the woman said it, I don't know why her name escapes me. When the woman said it, I was like, oh my God. That actually sounds really right.
Like the first time she was given a real amount of power and she gets to select something, and she handed you, perhaps, when it just comes to modern history and let's say the last 20 or 30 years, the biggest joke of a VP candidate since Dan Quayle. Now, again, Dan Quayle was just kind of a foolish dude. Sure. And he was about winning the Midwest. this dude has controversy attached to him. It's the easily vettable controversy.
But here's the thing. That's the whole point of it is the fact that she's so unprepared always, just like she was unprepared to make this choice.
Yeah, and she's so scared of her own pro-terrorist group that this was the decision they had to make because she knew she didn't have a chance at one point, or the Democrats didn't have a chance in Minnesota. So because of those pro-terror groups that she, got upset visually and just couldn't handle and deal with them, that she had to shut them down, that she's better than them, shut up, I don't care about your opinion, this is an effort that we're putting together and the voters don't count, shut up, get out. But she was so afraid of them, that's who you picked, Tim Walz. Yeah, there was so much vetting that you can do. This is a horrible pick, a horrible candidate. But again, right now there's a momentum. Don't be afraid, or you should be afraid of this campaign. You should be afraid of Harris. You should be organizing. Do not sit on your hands. There's a reason that follow Vegas, follow the betting lines. There's a reason Harris is leading in betting lines, and that should scare people. And don't think that this race is over.
Just let her talk.
Yep.
And as soon as she does, it'll correct.
Or if you're a Democrat, don't let her talk.
Yeah,
and
which is what they're doing.
And that's going to be their game. Imagine you're going to have a campaign for 90 days in which you take no questions.
And dude, it worked for Biden. And it appears to be working again. The one thing, she may not be prepared, but the Democrat Party is.
Oh yeah,
that's for certain.
The machine is always ready
that's
to go.
For certain.
I firmly believe.
That's why Rhino's right. You have to take this serious.
I firmly believe that even if they had decided to run Joe would be doing the exact same thing.
Oh sure.
Oh absolutely.
Yeah. It'd be the exact same numbers.
Well, they did that for how long? How long did they hide him?
3.5 years
Yeah,
before anybody went, wait a minute, Joe ain't here.
But we all said it. We all knew it. Everybody knew it.
What did the machine do?
The machine protected it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're cowards. They're cowards. Biden's a coward, and the rest of the Democrats are cowards.
It's just power, man.
And as soon as they realized they're going to lose their power, they had to create a coup and get rid of the man who earned the votes for somebody who's never earned one of those votes.
Morning Extra and Extra 106.3, 9 o'clock hours brought to you by Southern Exteriors, your home exterior solution. Their number to reach out to them if you would like to get them out to your house is 877-9-SOUTHERN and southernexteriors.co.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
southernexterior.co. Those guys are awesome, man. They are so amazing, man. They've done such great work.
Good work. They're good folks, for sure.
And they give you such a good, really competitive, I thought better than, I was almost told them, you're charging too less for doing this work, man.
I know, right? They do good work.
I'm not dumb and going to say it, but.
Yeah, right. They're very kind. And look, they won't always be the cheapest, but they're not the most expensive. They're usually right there in the middle, but the quality of work is so recognizable.
They're amazing guys. All right, here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Friday, August 9th. The state election board voted 3-1 to post signs outside polling places in November that read, U.S. citizens only. Board member Janice Johnson held up a sample sign explaining that it provides an easy visual for people to understand and will help prevent non-citizens from unwittingly violating election law. The sign will be emailed to all 159 counties, encouraging election officials to hang them up outside polling locations and election offices. A Rome high school bus carrying student athletes overturned and slid into a power pole, knocking out power for 500 residents in Aragon, Georgia last night. According to the school, all students and staff were accounted for, although officials have not released any details about injuries. The cause of the crash remains under investigation. And in sports, the Atlanta Braves outscored 34-12 in 3-game sweep by the Milwaukee Brewers. Yesterday, the Brew Crew delivered 6 home runs, 20 hits, and a 16-7 shellacking of the Braves. The Braves have lost 5 straight games and sit in 3rd place in the division. They will head to Colorado tonight to take on the Rockies in an 8:40 start. Grant Holmes will be on the mound, aiming for his first win of his career. You can catch all the action on our sister station, 680 The Fan.
Tug, Rhino, and Losa on the Morning Extra. When we come back, a COVID silver lining is what we discovered about your gut and why it's so important to focus on gut health. We'll talk about that next with Dr. Sabine Hazen on Extra 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station.
Extra Extra 106.3 is the only station in Atlanta to bring you unedited news, information, and updates. With an all-star lineup of local and network voices, Extra is committed to being the station you need during the biggest election of our lifetime.
This presidential election is unlike any other.
Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station is Extra 106.3 FM, and listen across Georgia on the Extra app.
I'll tell you one thing. If you want a company that you can look in the eye, shake their hand, and have them do exactly what they say they're going to do, let me recommend that you work with Southern Exteriors. These guys are so down to earth, such regular dudes. They just do extraordinary work. Isn't that the way it always is, though? The most regular folks are the most capable folks. At least that's the way it is and has been in my experience. My daddy, I'm not comparing him to the folks at Southern Exteriors, but I will say he was an average dude that could do extraordinary things with his hands, and he taught himself how to do it all. So I grew up around that, so I recognize it in Southern Exteriors. Whatever you're looking for, if you want to paint the house, if you want to re-side the house and then paint it, or if you want to repair the siding, paint it. I mean, there's just 1,000 different options. Whatever your option is, they can fix. Whatever your need is, they can repair. They can do anything you need done to the exterior of your home. Windows, doors, siding, gutters, they do it all. Decks, back decks, that's what my wife and I are saving up for right now, to get the back deck extended and just repaired. Just because it's getting old, man. Some of the wood needs to be repaired. It's not dangerous because we wouldn't be able to sit out there. But here in the next few years, it could be if we don't, take care of it. It's your biggest investment. Make your home the envy of the neighborhood and let Southern Exteriors paint the picture for you. They'll be glad to do it. All you have to do is reach out to them. It's easy to get a hold of them. 877-9-SOUTHERN is the number. 877-9-SOUTHERN. SouthernExteriors.co. SouthernExteriors.co.
Diamonds Direct Atlanta is now open. The nation's fastest growing jewelry store now is a location right here in Buckhead. Shopping for the perfect ring to pop the question? Or maybe an everyday diamond tennis bracelet? The experts at Diamonds Direct are sure to have exactly what you're looking for, no matter the occasion. With the lowest direct importer pricing, you can expect the best selection of certified diamonds at unmatched prices, all within a luxury showroom atmosphere that makes you feel right at home. Come see what other jewelers are trying to replicate. Diamonds Direct's unbeatable after-the-sale guarantees and warranties are the best you can find. Free cleanings, sizing, polishing, accent diamond replacement for the lifetime of your purchase. If that's not enough, they also offer a 110% upgrade policy for you to use as often as you'd like on your diamond engagement ring, pendant, or studs. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, come see how Diamonds Direct is reinvigorating the jewelry industry at their brand new Buckhead showroom. When you want to have complete confidence in your jewelry buying experience, shop with the experts at Diamonds Direct. Now open on the corner of Maple Drive Northeast and Peachtree.
Hey Atlanta, it's Ben, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Peach State Pride. Each and every weekend, we bring you all the issues going on around the globe and what America's ultimate role is in order to drive our agenda forward as conservatives. And if you ever miss an episode, you can download everything I've ever done on Apple, Spotify, or you can go to the podcast park. See you around, Atlanta.
It's the unsung hero of your home, your garage door. You never think about it. You just hit the button and it opens until it doesn't. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage and Entry Doors. So you're ready for a new garage door. At All Four Seasons, we offer fast service, affordable prices, and a huge selection of styles, colors, and custom features. Improve your curb appeal, lower your energy bill, secure your home, and increase your property value. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 Seasons Garages.com.
I enjoy a good night's sleep, and I like to breathe while I'm sleeping. My wife appreciates that, too. That's why I wear a CPAP. You want the right machine. You want expert advice. You want all the supplies that go with it. You get it all at CPAPs, etc. in Alpharetta. Machines, masks, tubing, filters, cleaning supplies, all of it, and they ship nationwide. Walk-ins, by the way, are welcome. CPAPs, etc. Alpharetta, CPAPSETC.com.
Looking for bold discussions on vital issues? Tune in to The Janelle King Show every Saturday at 3 p.m. with an encore episode every Sunday at 9 a.m. right here on Extra 106.3, where we dive into kitchen table topics that are essential for a strong republic. Don't miss an episode, but if you do, it's all good because we have new podcasts that drop every Tuesday on the Podcast Park or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't miss out on these thought-provoking conversations.
The news and talk I can trust. Extra 106.3.
This is the Morning Extra right here on Extra 106.3. Rhino, Tug, and Los will be taking you up until 10 o'clock later on this morning. But we have a very special guest on the phone. It's Dr. Sabine Hazen, and she is going to be appearing at the Malibu Microbiome Meeting coming up on August 10th and 11th. You can always check it out, MalibuMicrobiomemeeting.com, to get a virtual ticket for those of you over here in the Southeast. Doctor, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. So I wanted to start right here because over the last 4 years, I've been following your work. I've seen when you've been on different podcasts and broadcasts. I've seen when you've appeared with Senator Ron Johnson. To think how much your life has changed and your research when it comes to COVID and the microbiome, how wild has this time been for you the last 4 years in your life?
It's definitely been a roller coaster, but I mean, there's hope and light at the end of the tunnel, so it's not all darkness. It started off very scary times with COVID and ended up being seeing a lot of miracles, frankly, and seeing a path in medicine that I really didn't think, or I had a hint or gut feeling that there was something there, but then to see it, in full motion by treating patients with COVID and losing no one, getting a hint of what's going on in the microbiome, treating a kid with Tourette's, treating a kid with seizures. It's just been incredible.
Do you feel like, Doctor, that more people are embracing you now with the successes, or there's still pushback?
I think there's a reality that's happening in the sense that there's an awakening, right, that is happening in America where, people believed in what was told to them, in just following the guidelines and following, what we were told on how to treat or how to get rid of a virus, right? And when that didn't work, people started looking elsewhere. And I think that's where, that's where the awakening is happening, in my opinion. That's where we start seeing Americans taking charge of their health, taking charge of understanding, other ways and reaching other physicians, functional medicine, naturopaths, and really reaching improvement in diseases that they thought were chronic, So I think there's hope.
Dr. Hazen is our guest right here on the Morning Extra. She will be appearing at the Malibu Microbiome meeting that's going to be coming up. You can go to MalibuMicrobiomemeeting.com in order to get yourself a virtual ticket for August 10th and 11th. So I have to tell you, I'm a fanboy. I've purchased your book multiple times and given it away to friends and family. Let's Talk S. I'm on broadcast, so I can't exactly say all of it, but everyone can kind of figure it out from there. I'm fascinated because I've been talking more and more in my life about the importance of the microbiome and gut health and pointing people over to your research to see that what we have in our body can help us deal with even, not just COVID, but even as we get older, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, things along those lines. Your research has been incredibly informational from that standpoint.
Yeah, I think when you see a case of Alzheimer's improving when all you do is put, feces of the wife to the husband and the husband starts remembering things, you have to ask yourself questions. What's going on there, right? Now, obviously, we're not saying that all of Alzheimer's is a gut dysbiosis problem, but definitely that needs to be looked at, right? Because this is kind of, again, a light at the end of the tunnel that says, hey, maybe there's something else to Alzheimer's. When you see a kid with Tourette's and you find COVID in her stools and then you treat COVID and you treat the kid and she no longer has Tourette's, and you treat the gut, really, you realize, wow, there's something there, right? So, our research, what we've done with COVID, finding COVID in the stools, finding the loss of bifidobacteria in COVID, and then in severe COVID patients, loss of bifidobacteria in Crohn's disease, Lyme disease, invasive cancer, kind of got us to this path to say, wait a minute, what's going on with the bifidobacteria? And why is there a disappearance of that bacteria in the young people? The loss of the bifidobacteria occurs usually in the old people, not in the young. So you have to ask questions, and I think this is the moment where humanity is going to turn to the microbiome, and academic centers are going to start looking at the microbiome. There's no choice.
And Doctor, I want to follow up on that because you're part of a research paper where you were able to link, the hypothesis was when you have certain bacteria that is available to you in the microbiome, you see less severe cases, asymptomatic cases of COVID-19. Is that not correct?
Correct. We showed, and that was a key paper. There were two key papers that my lab published. One was finding COVID in the stools, which really got the government to start looking at the septic tanks. And then the second one was this loss of bifidobacteria in severe patients compared to patients that are highly exposed and never got COVID, right? You've heard of these patients that are, walking around, they're going to concerts, they're not vaccinated, they're not taking any medications, and they don't have COVID, right?
You're speaking about me right now, by the way.
No. So you're exactly that person, right? You're doing something right where your bifidobacteria is probably higher. And of course, it was not only, bifidobacteria, there's another bacteria that is increased in those people. The diversity is much higher. I have an ex-NFL player who basically has an amazing diversity that protected him from COVID, the whole pandemic. So he never got COVID. So there's three things that we've really identified, or four things that we've really identified in the microbiome that we feel, that could be why these people never got COVID. So we need to mimic that, right? We need to have patients be like you in a way in their guts and seeing, well, how do we increase the bifidobacteria? How do we decrease the Bacteroides? How do we increase the diversity to make people better? And so, our data is going to come out more and more. We've obviously showed that, vitamin C increases bifidobacteria. So little by little, we're showing, things to do, and I'm sure you've been doing them without even thinking, to increase your bifidobacteria. Decreasing stress, increasing exercise, all that is really important to having a good gut health. It's not only what you're eating, but it's also how you're living life.
Talking to Dr. Sabine Hazen on the Morning Extra and Extra 106.3, Tug, Rhino, and Los. Doctor, what about guys like me? I'm, late 40s. I got just a little bit of a, dad bod going, a little bit of a gut, but otherwise I'm in good health. I don't see anything, I don't have any issues that I'm running into. But what is ahead of me? What should I be paying attention to? Obviously, I need to eat better. I need to get a little more exercise. But what are the things that I'm going to deal with moving forward? Because I think there's a lot of people listening right now that are probably similar to me.
Well, I think, listen, the reality is the stool testing right now is not a commercial test. It's still in the research, area. So we don't want to say, well, everybody should get stool testing, right? But I think if you have been healthy, if you have survived COVID, then you're fine. Keep doing what you're doing. If you have longevity in your family, regardless of the dad bod, you're doing fine. Just keep doing it, right?
Keep smiling in that mirror,
That's right. Look, I'm looking good today.
Yeah, because listen, I've seen a lot of dad bods that are doing great and did great during the pandemic. So, I think keep doing what you're doing. The key is to decrease the stress. I really cannot emphasize that enough. I think the fear factor, listening to fear, the panic, you got to shut that off. Turn it off. Remove toxic people from your life. Remove toxicity from your life. And by toxicity, I mean if something upsets you in the news, turn it off. Focus on being a warrior, on healing, on eating right, on decreasing stress, meditation, yoga, exercise. That's really what's important. And living in your community with your family, embrace your family, enjoy your family. These are the moments. COVID was a way for me to realize what's important in my life. And what's important in my life is my family, my community, my patients, my employees. This is it. Focus on your own little environment.
Well, Dr. Hazen, I do appreciate the time, and I'll tell you, I will now tell my wife, doctor's orders, I have to start separating from my 13-year-old daughter who causes all my stress. And basically tell her, like, Dr. Hazen told me that I need to eliminate this stress in my life.
She's got to go.
Coming up, again, MalibuMicrobiomeeting.com. That's coming up on August 10th and 11th. Doctor, thank you so much for your time this morning.
God bless you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Pleasure. Thank you.
Doug, Rhino, and Lowe's on the Morning Xtra going to close out the bonus hour by talking about what we discussed a little bit with Dr. Hazen, but also Biden. I don't know if y'all noticed, he just woke up. Is anybody paying attention to this?
It's not 10 o'clock
Weekend
yet.
at Bernie's.
No,
He didn't wake up yet, did he?
No, yeah. You know what? You're right. You're right.
You're right. 10 o'clock wake up, 11 o'clock meeting.
That should be our, wake up. We should end the show at 10 o'clock with a wake up. Good morning. Good morning. To Joe. Yeah.
Joe saying, we only got until November. And, I guess January. We got until January because he's still going to be around. But not doing anything and not waking up. I mean, our adversaries know. They're paying attention. They're up. They're wide awake to the fact that he's asleep. Next on Extra 106.3 as we closed out the week. Thank you for being here with us on the Morning Extra.
Stream Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, Glenn Beck, Fox News, and even NASCAR on Sundays, anywhere on the Extra 106.3 app. Download the app now and get 24/7 access to the live stream, the latest news, and everything you need to know about Atlanta's only conservative talk station. Download the Extra 106.3 app for Apple or Android and check out even more great original content at thepodcastpark.com.
King of the Castle, King of the Castle. Hey, it's Los. Let's talk about Toro mowers. And where do you get those? Over at Howard Brothers. Now, why do I bring that up? Why do I bring up King of the Castle? Well, let's face it. There is nothing better than when you get your lawn done and get it all taken care of, and suddenly you get to take a look at it and you're like, hey, I'm the king of the castle, especially if you do it from the captain's chair of a Toro Titan Zero Turn mower. It's true. In fact, when you look over at Howard Brothers and the power equipment that they have, you want to find something comfortable? That's what you're going to get when it comes to Toro. Go over to Howard Brothers, look into your next Toro lawnmower. You'll be imagining the smells, dreaming about how good that lawn is going to look. And again, you get to be king of the castle. It's going to look like your lawn is maintained by a pro, but it's not. It's you. Now you're the pro of your lawn. That's how awesome it gets. Just imagine how quick you're going to be able to get that yard work done with that Titan Zero Turn mower. Visit Howard Brothers today for your time-saving Toro Zero Turn mower. The grass is always greener, and you get to be the king of the castle when you take care of it with Toro and with Howard Brothers.
Hi, this is Ben.
And I'm Walt from Horizon Background Screening. I would say the biggest benefit of working with Horizon is that we have people working in every courthouse throughout the country to be able to pull records and help with those background checks. There's probably not going to be anything that you can throw by us that's either going to shock us, surprise us, or that we can't put together to help you. The best way for people to find us is on our website. A quick Google search of Horizon Background Screening or look at us at horizonscreening.com.
As an official community partner of the Atlanta Braves and the Atlanta Braves Foundation, the Warrior Alliance connects Warriors and their families to free services such as health and wellness, housing, employment, education, legal services, and so much more. We need your financial support to increase our impact and change thousands of lives for those who served in the U.S. Armed Forces. It takes more than just thank you for your service. Make a donation to help Warriors navigate to success after service. Go to thewarrioralliance.org/donate and make a difference today.
We're smart, we care. We're Central Heating and Air.
Feeling the heat, Atlanta? Don't let it get you down. Stay cool with Carrier products from Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Their Carrier systems are designed to help keep you comfortable even during the hottest days. With advanced cooling technology, you'll enjoy a refreshing home no matter how high the temperature rises. And right now, you can save up to $2,000 on a new Carrier system. That's right, up to $2,000 off to ensure you stay cool all summer long. Plus, their Carrier systems come with excellent warranties for added peace of mind. At Central Heating and Air Conditioning, they pride themselves on better service through knowledge. And right now, you can save up to $2,000 on a new Carrier system. That's right, up to $2,000 off to ensure you stay cool all summer long. Turn to Atlanta's Carrier experts. Call 770-GET-HEAT or visit centralheat.com today.
We're smart, we care. We're Central Heating and Air.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
I plan to rearrange my closet, but I stopped after picking the clothes up off the floor.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's award-winning language learning app will help you start speaking another language. Start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
Comment tu t'appelles? Comment tu t'appelles? Vous êtes où?
Vous êtes où?
Babbel's bite-sized lessons make it easy to learn words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks,
"How's your French going?"
you can say,
Babbel est amusant et facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue. Et cela ne prend que 15 minutes par jour.
when you want to really learn another language, it starts with Babbel. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Election coverage is more than polls and numbers. It's about what matters in your life and your community. And Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station cares about your community, your voice, and most importantly, your vote. So keep it all here for the latest and download the Extra 106.3 app and keep up with Atlanta's only conservative voice.
Tug, Rhino, and Los.
Good morning.
There we go. Good morning. This is our soft wake-up song for Joe Biden.
Good morning, Joe.
Joe, how you feeling, buddy?
Here are your slippers.
Here's your robe.
It's great.
I'm going to change your Depends now. Roll over.
I got you some grits.
What do you mean, where's Jill? She hasn't been here in 2 months.
She divorced you a long time ago.
Yeah. She jumped on a new bandwagon for power, sir.
No kidding, man. She is leaving you out. So, yeah, this is maybe we start doing that from now on, or at least once in a while. Do a 10 o'clock good morning wake up call, because you got to ease people into waking up. You can't just go and startle them right at 10.
Especially not Joe.
No, he could have
You got to slowly wake him up.
No question about it.
You got something coming up at 4 this afternoon, sir. Time to get up.
No, before 4, because 4 is over.
No, okay, sorry. 3:30 to 4, sir. You have your one event for the day.
Last thing, and it's nothing more than a lunch.
What's going on with Israel? Don't worry about that, sir.
They don't want to hear from you. I don't know if y'all saw this yesterday. I saw 2 things happen, and there was like 2 evictions, and then parking lots full of people taking what was being evicted. In the first case, I saw it on at Georgia Followers, and it was at like a beauty shop.
I almost put this in my stories. I did the Red Martini yesterday.
Yeah.
The beauty shop. Yeah, that was amazing how much stuff they had in that store.
Dude, and there were just vultures circling, and the parking. And as soon as it hit the ground, man, people were just taking it off, taking all of it.
So they put this out online first. So all these people knew, like, these people are being... So it happened at Red Martini Lounge. And like you said, I forget what the name of the beauty store was. And so police put all their belongings out. Now, the Martini Lounge, they stole cases upon cases of liquor, TVs, everything.
They had their stuff set out. A lot of people just kind of ambushed it, took what they could grab. The owner got mad. A fight broke out. Guns were drawn. Police were called.
That place in Buckhead. That's the one I'm talking about.
So that's the Red Martini one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you don't remember, that's the one that our one of our favorite judges decided to get so drunk and fight police at and then claim that she didn't.
That's right.
Yeah, that was at the Red Martini Lounge.
Yeah. So yesterday, a day full of evictions and, people just thieving everything that touches the ground. It's unbelievable. I was like, am I in a warp zone? This is because at first, I'll be honest, I kind of thought it was the same story because I was like, oh, that's the... And then I was like, no, that's not the beauty shop. That's actually a bar. 2 in one day?
What kind of store would have to have an eviction and they put all their stuff on the side for you to actually take something?
Buddy.
Would you do
it? No, because let me take my morality out of it.
Yeah, take your morality out. Act like a Democrat for a minute.
Yeah, like a Best Buy or some sort of sporting goods store.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was a little concerned because I only know one club owner, and he owns like 5 different clubs.
I don't know any club owners. Wow, that's cool.
It just so happened my daughter and his daughter play volleyball together.
Oh, you've told us about him
And
before.
so I was like, he's a really interesting dude. And immediately I thought, like, oh my God, like, because again, I only know one. And then by the time I saw it, I was like, yeah, he would never be involved in anything. I was like, dude takes care of his business.
Yeah, no, he's squared
Yeah,
away.
well, Red Martini hadn't paid. They were actually evicted in August of 2023, and then the judge allowed him to stay there. Don't know why they were able to stay there. The landlords were getting upset about it, and finally they said, hey, yeah, you got a notice to evict. You got to get out. And the landlords pulled the plug and said, sorry, you haven't paid. And he's like, I paid everything. And then the court's like, no, you didn't. You haven't paid rent. You know, they've had nothing but trouble in there, and there a lot of violent actions happening in that club, and it's time to shut these clubs down that promote violence.
Freaking crazy. The people just swarming. I think that was the most bizarre thing to me, that people just couldn't wait to capitalize on somebody's,
ironically,
bad situation.
Yeah, ironically enough, they're living in a Kamala Harris world and a Bidenomics world, and they need to go and loot and take things because this is what their party has done to this country over the past 3.5 years. They've destroyed the economy to the point where everything is so expensive. You need to go steal from others to be able to make a living and to be able to feed your family now. And that's sad that we have to stoop to this level to be able to take care of our family.
I'm not sure, though. This could have been 5 years ago, and I feel like there would be those vultures.
Oh, yeah, I'm
still
playing
swinging,
politics
you know what I
now,
mean?
though. Oh, yeah.
Well, but no, you're not wrong
You
because
put
this
stuff out on the street, people are going to come look.
And come get it.
I'm not going to lie, I would.
Yeah.
Like if there's a comic book store and they threw everything out on the street, I'd be like, man, I'm going to go look for some of these good Spider-Man.
Okay, so...
Spider-Mans. That's the Jewish version.
Yeah. I think maybe we've had this conversation before. Oh, yeah, it's when it happened. Remember, there was like a Brinks truck on 285?
Yes.
The back door open, there's just money floating around
And everybody
everywhere.
had to return the money or else?
Yeah, because they had cameras up on it. And there's no way they found every person that did it.
They can't find cocaine in the White House yet. They found everybody who took a $100 bill out of a Brinks truck. I guarantee you they found every single person.
Dude, if they want to, they can absolutely find it. I'm convinced of that. There's no way that you can get away with anything anymore because cameras are everywhere.
Right.
Not that I want to, but I'm just saying that
No, if you're a Democrat, you can.
Yeah, because they ain't going to prosecute you.
Right. You're good. Just tell them.
If you are a conservative, they're going to put your name on a billboard on 285.
Can I say that was one of the funny things, too, that Kamala Harris is like, we're working for all of America, all 100%, and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And you know what? With guns, we need to make sure that we have background checks. And I started thinking, Tim Walsh, both of them throwing this out there, you guys want background checks, and you don't even look at the background of the cases of the criminals that you let out that killed other people.
What does a background
a background check do then?
Well, but what do you have to get a background check? What kind of information do you have to put on there?
I don't know. Maybe an ID?
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Huh.
So you want background checks.
We already have
using
background
IDs. Yeah, right. But they want to use an ID for that, but they don't want to use it to secure your election.
Well, I just find it funny that they need background checks on legal gun owners, but the criminals that they have backgrounds of 21 felonies, they go, I didn't see that, and I'm surprised he went out and got a gun and killed someone illegally.
So you have the newest paid influencer game that is up and flying as of this morning. So what's trending is Trump meltdown and Trump is done. This is their newest one as of Friday. Is like let's get this rolling.
They hit that yesterday so quick too, and Kamala Harris came out and it was right away from Kamala Harris headquarters. If you follow Kamala Harris headquarters, you'll see them post what's first, and Democrats will follow.
Yeah, they all
Hakeem
roll.
Jeffries, and then everybody else rolls with the same exact tweet, maybe worded differently.
And then the bots get going, which are paid for from the bot farms.
They all fall for it though.
But look, at least on my X, and you can find me at Tug Cowart, Rhino at Rhino Xtra 1.
You got more bras and panties?
Well, don't tell everybody.
Okay.
And then at Front Office Los. No, but in the trending on my side, Cat Turd is trending at 9,728 posts. Trump is done at 1,244. Of
course.
So you know what I'm saying? Like,
you see the numbers.
They're trying to make this be something.
Trying to ramp it up.
That's right. And it's just, at least at this point.
Meanwhile, a dude who's like early 60s retiree in Cat Turd
who's just funny.
It's just rolling.
And creating organic content.
Yes.
And the other, just made up nonsense.
I don't know if you saw him, because he did an interview with Tucker Carlson. You had him over to his place, and you're like, so that's Cat Turd.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. And it was so funny to see him because he never posts a picture of himself.
It's a picture of a cat.
Yeah, exactly. So, it'll shake itself out. I've had Jacob, my son, ask me about trending stuff. He was like, hey, did you see Trump lost his trending or whatever? And I was like, well, look at how many posts that it has versus the other posts. Just look at the numbers, the sheer numbers. And it's always organic stuff is what blows up. And then the manufactured stuff that they talk about just dies and rots on the vine. Kind of like those sports streamers, tired of those Secret Service calls, trying to get Kamala on their platform. And they're like, no.
Stop calling me.
No, thank
Stop
you.
hitting me up.
I have no interest whatsoever. All right, it's been a great week. We appreciate you being here with us on Extra 106.3 and hope that you will stick around for the Glenn Beck program. Clay Travis and Buck Sexton from noon until 3. And then the mighty, mighty Kimmer in the afternoon. Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder on the Kimmer Show, only on Extra 106.3 from 3 until 6. We hope y'all have a terrific weekend. For the whole show, Rhino, Los, and Board Up Goey, Virgin River, my name is Tug. Y'all come back now, you hear?
The Kimmer Show is only live on Extra 106.3 every weekday afternoon on your drive home.
Level playing field. I thought that's what you Democrats